All right, hey, how's it going? I just figured I'd stop in and do what we do best, and that's just talk about games and stuff. Um, so tonight we're supposed to have on a good guy named Marco. He's from Raybox Games, and he's here to talk to us about Escape from Stalingrad Z. How's it going, buddy?
Hi, how's it going, Chris? Nice to
Keep,
be here.
you too, man. Keeping busy.
Great.
So, yeah, I first saw your game on Facebook on all the different message boards that I'm a part of there, and
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, this sounds like definitely something I need to get into. Um,
very cool.
yeah, I remember you gave me the print and play. I have that all sitting here. I have it in my print and play box. I'll ask you about
Nice.
that.
Yeah, and we have a few more things we're going to be adding, putting out there too soon. The competitive co-op play rules, as well as versus rules. So where one of the players, is the zombie master controlling the zombie faction.
Nice. So I guess we'll start with the usual. Tell me about you, how you got started in this, and what makes
Sure,
you.
absolutely. Yeah. So I was designing games back in 1990. Designed a few games: Legions of Steel, Inferno, Battles of the Abyss, plus supplements, and kind of a whole bunch of stuff for about 6 or 7 years through the 90s. And then I took a hiatus. I had a company then; it was called Global Games. Anyway, for different reasons, I closed the company down. And 25 years pass, and I start kind of looking back into games. I've done many things in those 25 years. I'm a furniture designer. I have a company that makes furniture. I produce movies. I have a magazine called Rumorg Magazine, horror genre magazine. So we do tons of stuff. Some of them are still going. And but I always thought I'd be like, when I retire one day, I'll make games again. I didn't retire, but I still started making it. So I looked into it and I said, you know what? I have these old games. Maybe I can bring back one of them. Maybe, make sense. And I did a few Kickstarters and stuff, kind of promoting the old classic miniatures that we created for Legions of Steel back in the day. Those went well, and they honestly, they helped finance what inevitably became, Escape from Stalingrad Z. And I started work on that. Like, I actually started working on a game called Stalingrad like 25 to 30 years ago. And that was going to be an historical World War II game. And then that changed into being an historical World War II game, but with a story where it's more about the German soldiers trying to escape the war-torn Stalingrad. And after I was mulling, looking at the market and what might do well, and also my interest not only in really interested in World War II and zombies and stuff. It's like, why don't we just put zombies in it? and like, how cool would that be? And also, like, from a kind of, it'll be less political. At least at the time, that's what I thought. It'll be less political because it's not about like Germans fighting Russians or whatever. It's about like humanity getting together to survive, right? Mm-hmm. And I just thought that it would be easy kind of to market, like it would open up some doors, like as far as and audience. And so basically 1 year ago, the game that you see now is started designing 1 year ago, and now it's released and it's done over like $200,000, well, Canadian dollars. I'm from Canada originally. Yeah. It did excellent, over 2,000 backers, and it all like kind of happened fast, or it felt like it kind of happened fast in a way. But really, it was in my head for quite a while. And then here we are, and the game's like, we're just finishing up some scenarios, finishing up some rules. I'm in contact, it's a pretty involved product with miniatures, so it's being made in China. And I've already been talking to those guys for the last 6 months or so, and I have distribution set up in the UK and in Australia, New Zealand, in Europe, in the United States, and Canada. It's all set up, like, thank goodness, because that's a big thing about a publisher. And it's a big job to do. So I just got professionals to do it, best for everybody. And and here we are. And honestly, like, the other note was, like, as soon as I started to go the zombie route and do Escape from Stalingrad Z, I started like immediately talking about it and like, posting about it. Like, I didn't wait to like have stuff. Really, it was just ideas, and I just started talking about it. that way I started marketing basically the game when I had the idea. And that time I think was helped to grow the fan base and stuff like that. So here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, it brought it to my attention. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you're more than aware, when you make games, you have precious little time to play them.
Yeah, I try to get some games in now and again, and of course I'm playing my game because I'm play testing it as well as So yeah, but yeah, it's totally true. You're kind of tired or burned out about it in some ways, so you got to find the when you're sparked, when you're like in the mood, so to speak. Yeah.
Sure. That's what I'm doing. Because I make them too. I have a Slaughterville, and I'm making Gone Hunting, and I did a choose your own adventure game. So when I can get
awesome.
Thanks. When I can get this one here and it's just flip open the book, now I have the maps laminated because I'm a freak. But
no, I laminate my maps too.
So I can put that out, and in 20 minutes I can go, okay, I got a good one in. Now I can go mark down my campaign and go on to the next thing I have to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. And there's going to be a lot more for people to be able to enjoy about the game that they haven't seen yet. Like I mentioned, those other rules, so you can play different ways. We're going to have a team control sheet, so you can mark your experience, and you can make notes about different stuff about your team, your characters, and stuff like that. And something we haven't talked about, but we're introducing now, is that you can, along the way, you can also like save, basically rescue civilians along the way. And whenever you do, you might get some more gear or something. And in the end, like when they finally terminate the story, I'm not going to reveal it, but basically there's bonuses you can get that you'll only know once you get to the end if you help save people, basically like goodwill, right? So
yeah. Now, did I read? And again, I could be misremembering. It happens. Did I read you're going to have over 100 pages in the scenario book?
Yes. Actually, it's going to be more than 100 pages. Yeah, I think it's going to be 102 or 104, or maybe it'll be 100. It'll depend, because what I wanted to do is, as you know, on the left side, well, this is reversing it, but basically on the left side has the rules, and on the right side is the map. But some maps, there are 4 maps that are double, like it's the whole both pages flat, which allows you to bring more characters on at the same time. Kind of, it makes it more interesting. There's more to do on the map. It'll be a longer scenario too when you get to play those. So since it's open, I'm that creates more pages, because now I have 2 pages consumed instead of instructions. And then the instructions for these particular scenarios will be found in the rule book, so you can both look at, which is a separate book, right? The rule book is perfect bound separate. And that allow you to, still look at what, information it might have while playing the game. So, yeah. So it's at least 100 pages. Yep.
That's good. I saw that Ori made your video. He did our video too. He's a pretty good guy, that one.
Ori's great. That video I'm so happy with. It was about mixing up, the 2D art that I had Nat Jones work on. He's like he did Spawn, a whole bunch of cool stuff back in the day, and he's doing stuff still. And so it was a great idea that Ori had to kind of combine the 3D elements and the 2D elements, and I really like that. I really like that concept.
Yeah. Here was something I've been meaning to ask.
Sure.
Ever since I've been looking at this, and again, I have a whole list of questions. I've been like, oh my God, he's going to come on. I got to talk to him about these.
Oh, yeah, I'll be here to answer your questions. I love talking about the game, so no problem, man.
What made you decide to go with the book versus more traditional dynamic maps?
Well, the short answer is, maybe there's no short answer, but like the process. Effectively, what I wanted to do, I was talking with I have a friend in Australia who also is a game designer. His name is Adam Dobbins. Great guy, and he has great ideas. And we had lots of discussions and about kind of what we can do that kind of makes the game different, right? Okay, from other games. And I there's a lot of games out there. So one thing was, what's going to why would someone play my game over another game? Or what can we do to encourage people to check out ours, because it's different, right? Like, even if they don't end up playing it, but you want to just attract their attention to get the opportunity to convince them to get the game. So The reason I chose it, like, in short, basically, Adam talked about this game he had where it was played out of a book, but it was all played in the book, like where you were kind of like against the room that you were in the book.
Okay.
And then I took that. When I was working on this, and I was going to make it like it was going to be like Zombicide, where it had maps and you had like 9 of them. And I was going to make them a little bit smaller, but then make street maps, and then you could like rearrange them and stuff. And it's expensive to do it. And you had to do a big box set, and which is going to be $120, or like it's just going to be like big for an independent publisher. So it's like a lot of money, and I didn't know if I would. I felt that like I would lose a lot of customers who just weren't ready to purchase in that range, and I really wanted to bring it to as many people as possible. And then his idea of doing that, and then the miniatures game developing. Really made me start thinking about a book format. And then I was like, well, then if I do it a book format, I can just sell it as a book, and it could be like $30. And like, man, some friggin' miniatures are $30, and here you get a whole game for $30 that's got 100 pages. So I started getting excited just about being able to do that. Then okay, so you can do that. Then you can do a box set version if you want. People are willing to pay like around $50. And then they get a bit more stuff, but it's still very economical. And then if they really want to get into miniatures, I'll have them separate and do a big one. If you want to spend like, $150 or $200 or whatever, it's there for you, right? So it just made sense. And then, of course, the concept I just thought it was a great concept. And of course, many comments are like, wow, this is a super cool idea, right? And so it basically like it kind of flip-flopped in my mind and just landed, the right way it was supposed to. And then as soon as it like clicked, it was just, that's the only way to do it. And that's the only way I'm going to make any game for the foreseeable future. Like it's going to be, because I love making miniature games. So it's going to be book format miniature games. And so that's kind of how it came about. And at the same time, having a book format allowed me to address many kind of complaints that miniature game have, or any game has, which it comes up, which are like play areas often very large, setup time could be 20 minutes or half an hour or more, teardown time's another 20 minutes, half an hour or more. There's tons of components. If you're a miniature gamer in these games, you can have 100 frigging miniatures to paint. Like, wow, it's a lot of minis. Ours, you can just play with 30. The amount of space you take is an open book. The amount of a scenario takes is like 20, 30 minutes. It just answered so many questions. I'm going, like, it was a chock full of like, I just answered like half a dozen complaints in this one product. So it was super exciting to like make it all come together and then hone it down and make it as great as possible.
Nice. Yeah. When I saw that it was miniatures agnostic, but then I saw the
yeah, that too. Yeah, you can use your own miniatures. I'm like, hey, use whatever you want. You don't need to buy mine. If you like them, get them. If you don't, totally cool.
But I saw that you had unlocked the dual layer board. And I'm like,
man,
that cemented the box for me. I'm like, you need that.
Yeah, I was so happy to unlock that. And I'll be honest with everyone. It was, I thought they were going to be super expensive. So I wasn't sure about them. That's why I didn't put them in the game in the first place. It's like, they're going to add a lot, like, 10%, 15. It's just, and then just in my mind, I just thought they would be expensive. And then I got, I got to get this quoted. And then the camp, this is just before the launch, and I'd already fixed everything in place. And it came out that they were like very reasonable price. Like, oh man, I got to put this in if I can. So like, I was excited about putting it in, and then I had so many other things to put in there. I wasn't sure where to slot it. I would have been disappointed myself if I did do it. So I was like, I got to make sure it happens.
Yeah. Nice. I played through a couple of scenarios the other day just to refresh and keep it in. I will say, I'm going to bring up yep, there it is.
Okay. And I just want to make a footnote is that I've made some changes. We're always working on the rules as game designers. You well know, it'll be sold. It'll be, you'll be thousands of copies out there, and you'll still be like, oh, I can make this better, or clarify one thing or not. So I just want to mention that when you look at the weapon, at the what we've done now, we've split the so it says 6, right? That's that now is that if you roll 6, 7, or 8, you stun with that. and
Yep.
on a 9 or better, you'll inflict the wound. So I put both numbers there now. So it'll say 6/9. So you don't ever have to really calculate it. It's just there already. I know it's a little thing, but I think it just helps people. It's just quicker to work out what your kind of your hit number is. And I just want to mention there's a few, like there's some good tweaks that you'll find in the final game. Just want to let people know. Yeah.
I was gonna say I even found some extras from, because I had one of the earlier versions.
Yeah.
When we first started posting, and I found some pretty cool changes from there. Like
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
one of the things I had trouble with, honestly, was movement and understanding the turning 90s and or going sideways and backwards.
Right.
But then I just printed off an extra copy of this whole charts and tables page, and then it just sits with me. So I mean, it's not a big deal then.
Oh,
So, yeah.
let me tell you, like I know I'm interrupting you, but so in the book version, it comes with a folder. So it's literally a folder, and it folds closed. Inside, you put your books and you know, a little bag of counters. You can fit them in there, right? When you open up the folder, on the outside, of course, it has the cover, but on the inside of the folder are all these stats and stuff. So it's kind of like a little, like a DM screen.
Okay.
That you can set up, and it has all these stats like sitting up. So that was, I thought, a cool little thing that you'll find when and that, of course, that DM screen, which is part of the book set, and the book set is part of the box set, so you get that no matter which set you get. Yeah. Nice. So I want to mention that too, so it'll make it easy for people to have a quick reference charts.
I even laminated the zombies.
Oh yeah, very cool.
That's how much I liked it. You know, I mean, I want to keep everything as secure as I can.
Oh,
I
printed cool.
out the standees and all.
The standees also, we're upgrading the standees. That was never even on the thing, but we're going to do, well, I mean, they're slightly upgraded. They're still cardboard, but they're going to be die cut so that they're shaped kind of like the thing. So it's going to be a little bit sexier.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like little improvements that I'm making that I might not have, that weren't in the Kickstarter, but I'm just going to, you know, put into the game, because I just want the game to be better if I can make it better. And you know, it's not that expensive. I mean, why not, right? So, because it was successful. It was a nice, successful campaign. So, you know, I want to make it as good as possible.
That's kind of my thing too, is if I get close to it, or if I think it's going to make it better overall, I try to throw it in as best as I can.
Yeah, that's great.
Now I want to make sure I did this one right.
Okay.
And just to show people how it would play, I started off here on A, on the very first scenario. We have enough, and then over here was the objective where we can search, and up here was one.
Yeah.
Had the zombie here. Now here's something that I forgot, and I wanted to make sure that everybody remembered. When I moved off, I did a search, but we can't do that. If we moved, because it has to take a full action, right?
Right. Correct.
That's something.
The search action consumes all your movement and any sort of attack that you might have had.
But the pickup didn't, because if we know it's there, we can just grab it.
Once you complete your search, you automatically get it.
Yeah.
And you can put it into your ready hand, or you can put it into your gear, wherever you want. You have a character sheet where you got gear slots, so you can put different gear that you collect along the way. And of course, you can have more gear than you have space for.
And the other thing that was me was I didn't do I had the zombie here standing outside, and I'm like, I can't open the door because I can't hit, because I forgot about you can attack even without a weapon, like a standard hand-to-hand thing.
In that scenario, none of the zombies start showing up until the third turn or the fourth turn, so you should have been trapped in there.
Oh, I thought we had to spawn one during setup. See that?
No, so you see, if you look at that, see if you go to scroll to the bottom, you have a slash. So no spawn, no spawn, no spawn. S. Now there's a spawn.
See, that's why it's good here, so I can learn.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if that wasn't clear before, it's definitely more clear now, because we go through, find, and refine every like little bit to make sure that people. So you were safe for 3 turns. The idea of that one was to teach you how to move without having a lot of pressure. And indeed, you can attack hand to hand, although it's not very good at it. So in that case, you would have had 3 turns, 1 to move towards it, 2 to collect the thing, and 3 to run if you wanted, open the door and get out, and then the zombies would start coming. So I want a little bit of pressure, kind of get to keep you moving and like to force you to think about the best way to move to avoid them and also get. So it's almost like a tutorial scenario, but yeah. So well, there you go. So you only spawn where there's a mess. That's correct. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. Although in some scenarios, zombies do start on the board in the Z mark squares. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that you say Z.
Z, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know, man. That Z became a big issue now with what's happening in the Ukraine, not to go political or whatever, but a lot of people, there were some people who were angry about the Z, but I had already done everything and I couldn't do anything. Like it was too late. And I made sure that everyone knew that, first of all, the Z stands for zombies. So it's like, and all humanity is against the zombies. So it's not like it's glorifying the Z. It's about Z is bad.
Exactly.
And in our team who worked on this, and you worked with, I'm sure, all kinds of people, but Orion in Israel, I have a Russian miniature sculptor, I have a Polish miniature sculptor, I have Polish painters, I have Canadian and American artists, I have an Italian artist, I have my marketing guys in the States and Texas who are working at, and in England. So it's like a really diverse crowd of people. So it's like that's not, we're not about whatever, but it did. I think it did influence. Have some influence. It upset some people, but I tried to let them know where we come from.
Right.
And so that's the Z story or the Z story.
I think most people are more understanding than
I
not.
think most are, but yeah.
I also, again, while playing, I like the idea of being able to strategically set up my people.
Yeah.
And use covering.
Yeah.
Covering, again, was something I had to wrap my head around at first, but then once I realized it was like a strategy game, like, because I used to play things like XCOM.
Yeah. Well, you save your points to like where something comes open. Yeah, which is how I explained it in the rules, basically, right? I tried to put it in. I did put it in colloquial terms where it's like sometimes in war and combat, soldiers will be training their weapon in a certain, waiting for an opportunity, right? And that's what covering is. And it's like you say in XCOM,
yeah. That's what it made most sense. I also really like, because I do painting and minis, that you have your own paint sets.
That's amazing. So I don't know basically AK, which makes a great quality paint, and I'm not just saying that like because I wouldn't have teamed up with them if I wasn't happy with the paints. And I was in Gamma in February, anyways, this year, in the state. Where the hell was it again? I don't. Nevada. Anyways, in Nevada. So yeah, and they were there too. They're from Spain. I live in Spain, and I spend some time in Canada because of the business and stuff. And then I work remotely from Spain. They're in Spain too, and they came over and they were seeing what we were doing, and they're big into World War II. And I was doing a World War II zombie game, which I don't know how many. There's not many out there. I mean, as far as really World War II zombie games, if there might be a couple you might thing, but really they're not out there. Anyway, so yeah, and they're like, well, is there maybe some collaboration we can do? And I'm like, I think so. So when I got back to Spain from the show, we hooked up quick, and it took no time at all to come up with there's 1,000 different ways you can slice the paint barrel on this, but we chose, something that makes sense and gives a different thing. But yeah, I'm so happy we have them. For me, it's not really a big money making thing, but I just think it's great to have it. I can't wait to have mine.
Yeah, it's branded and you have the color palette already created. You don't have to worry about what do I need. It's already in those boxes.
It's already in there. And what's good, what AK is going to do is we're going to do little painting. I don't know if it'll be video or it'll be laid out, but we're going to give you how you use these paints to make to how to paint specifically Stalingrad Z figures. So you'll get kind of like we'll have like a little tutorials and stuff like that. So that's gonna be great for everyone too. These are the paints, and this is how you paint it, and and they're great painters. So we're working with some great pros. So yeah,
that would be nice. I'd like to see. I watch those kind of videos all the time.
Me too, man. I was into doing dioramas. And 135 scale and stuff like that a few years ago. I got back into it, and that's all I did was look at how people did it, how you do chipping and all that kind of stuff.
The new rust effects and
Yeah. I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I geared up as far as painting is concerned. Yeah.
and I'm sure again one of the big issues that I've seen a lot of people over here in the States deal with is VAT. And I saw that you actually had VAT included in the price, and that's a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah. So you're talking about manufacturers or publishers trying to sell into Europe and having the whole VAT thing.
It is
Yeah.
very difficult to navigate.
Yeah. So it is complicated. I mean, I think I figured it out. The thing is that if you include VAT, then you're going to make less in Europe. But if you don't include that, it'll be hard to sell in Europe. That's the kind of thing, right? So you have to kind of be like, well, just choose to make less if you're. That's what I decided in the end. And from a business standpoint of view, you know, I really designed the game about having also from a business with good margins, like margins that I can work with, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make quite as much, but whatever, man. Let's just put it in there and put it to bed, and that's it. And that's how I'll do it all the time. It'll be like, you know, it's just a cost of doing business. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. Now, and a little thing is that the book version of the game in the UK has no VAT because it's a book.
Oh.
So they told me that if the book is part of another product, which it is for the box set, that it will reduce the amount of VAT on like that what the consumer would pay and I would pay them, because it's a portion of that. So I hope that works out. So that'll kind of keep the VAT more manageable, basically.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good thing when you can get your product out to more people like that. It's always better. My motto's always been, if I had the money, I'd give it away, just because I want people to play it.
Yeah. That's cool.
But that's the way I always look at it. So I gotta ask, because again, I've been enjoying the ton out of this game. Okay.
Thank you.
I want the 100 and now the 102 plus if I remember correctly, and believe me, my brain is fried lately, but
yeah, I'm burnt out, but that's all right.
Dasha and who was the other one that got the extra PDFs? Till. Those PDF scenarios, I got to print those out too.
But well, they won't be ready for a little bit because you know we're really hunkering down to get the printed version completed. But yeah, we're not only that's a DLC, which is downloadable content, right? Aside from those two, we're going to create downloadable content every single month for this product. Additional scenarios, other ways to play the scenarios, achievement kind of, you know, Z commendations is what we're going to call them. Now I don't know if I can call them that anymore. But anyways, you know, all kinds of stuff. And, you know, you can expect to see other mini canes coming up. And also, when we have time, I'm going to dedicate some time, and Tom, who I just hired to work with me, a guy I used to work with 25 years ago, you know, we're going to work on a tabletop kind of conversion rule. So for people who like really want to go for it and just these are the rules how you can play it. So that'll be kind of fun and exciting too.
Yeah, that was actually my next question was, you know, what's the future for Stalingrad Z? And now we're going to get monthlies and all this. That's going to be nice.
And it's more than that. It's did you notice I'm creating a series of games. Have you seen the posts on that yet? I can tell you about it.
No, the last thing I saw was the grid, which I really like the idea.
Yeah, the grid's great. That's a whole other thing. Yeah, that terrain is really great. The people who get it love it, and I haven't been able to push it much since the Kickstarter because I've been working on this, but it'll come back. But what I'm doing is to be very specific. Escape from Stalingrad Z is the first in a series of games, okay, of the Zombie Tango Oscar series of games, which is Zombie Theater of Operations, okay, ZTO. That's kind of the military slang for it, right? So there's going to be at least 5 more games after Escape from Stalingrad in the same universe and following a timeline. Okay. So there's lots coming. I'm already working on the next one, Escape from Project Riser, which is set in 1943, so a year later, in the Owl Mountains in Poland, and it's all like an underground Nazi bunker. So that the second one that's coming out, it'll be set underground in a bunker, actually It's built under a chateau. So the first kind of 2/3 of the game is underground bunker, totally like, and then after that you get to the chateau and there's different escape routes and like you'll be like in an old world like kind of castle type of thing. And it's real. These are real. I'm not even making this stuff up. So it's like an actual place that exists that we're kind of working off of. That's the next one. And then the third one is going to be set in 1941, and it's like a prequel set in North Africa.
Okay.
And then the fourth one, I don't want to say exactly what it is. It's going to be cool. And then I have two more after that that are going to be set in the Pacific. So there's at least 5 more after this. And then I'm also working on Viking, a Nordic horror one. So it's kind of like a fantasy Viking. That's another obviously different kind of thematic skin, but that one's also being worked on. So anyway, so yeah, there's a lot going on with it. We are going to continually release stuff. Each release is going to have the book set, the box set. It's going to have a deluxe set, limited edition. It'll have some extra stuff plus 4 miniature box sets of choice. So you can like kind of keep the same format going and pick and choose what you want to do and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because you can even take that all the way up to and including like Vietnam, Korea, I mean, everywhere.
You can do everything. This game, the way I've wrote it, the rules, especially once they get, refined, the final refined and perfected ones, you can do like, Die Hard, you can do Predator, you can do, you can do the Roman Legion, the Lost Legion. Like you can do anything. Like if you can think of it, if it's a movie, like the best way I like to talk about the easiest is if it's a movie. Think of a movie, you can do Blade Runner in this. It won't be all combat-y, like that'll be part, but maybe there's more problem solving and more, the story is taking you in a different, it's an investigation, right? You can really do anything. And we are actually looking at licenses that we can pick up. Like I would, there's just too many to go to. There's like a really great license we may be able to get because it was a book first, which is Death Troopers, which is basically it's a Star Wars novel with stormtrooper zombies. So it's like, that would be pretty cool. And who knows? I don't know. We're gonna try because I think it's cool. I don't even, but I think it'll be pretty neat. I mean, making Star Wars zombie miniatures. I don't know. I think a lot of people would dig it.
Oh yeah, that'll sell. Yeah, you can pretty much guarantee that one.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said you only had a half an hour tonight. Unfortunately, it's been real fun talking to you.
Well, I don't mind. I didn't know what was happening tonight, so I didn't want to think. But if you have more questions, I'm happy to chat a bit longer. If you got something you'd like to ask.
Well, you did just answer my last one. The last question I had was, what other genres are you planning on for the system?
Yeah,
you did mention anything you can use in a movie.
Yeah, anything. And I'll tell you interested genres because there's only so much I can do. But a sci-fi version of the game. It doesn't have to necessarily be zombies, but just that same kind of concept. So Legions of Steel might come out as so it's called Paths Unknown is the name, the IP of the. So Legions of Steel, it already has a very rich universe. I'd love to do a cyberpunk version. I don't know if I'll get a Blade Runner thing, but cyberpunk still super cool. And then we would have a different part of the game, which we think we would do with cards, which when you're on the internet or surfing the web, you would use the cards to resolve issues. And then when you go in the real world, you use the map. So it would be kind of an interesting way where you're using 2 kinds of ways of playing a game, depending where you're at. And that makes a lot of sense. And then, we have the Viking one coming up, which I don't have maybe end of next year. And honestly, it could be anything, so I'm excited.
So I can tell you, I know I am, and I can tell from all the people that have been joining the Facebook groups, and you had over 2,000 backers. They're going to be excited too.
Yeah. I'm very happy with that.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Again, that was the last question I had for you.
Okay. Well, no, that's great. I can just, let's see. I'll give some updates. So we're in the middle of finishing off the last scenarios. I'm getting the miniature samples in from China in the next week or 2 so that I can approve them and we can start the whole process. So that's all that keeps on moving. The guy who's working on the layout is in lives in Argentina, and he's already finished the layout for all the box sets. So, which there's a whole bunch of them. So that's all happened, and now we're sinking our teeth into laying out for the rules. And yeah, it's it's progressing, and we're doing everything in good time.
That's good. Again, especially with the logistics issues of today, it's good to be ahead.
Yeah. I'm giving myself 3 months to ship, so I think it's moderately fair, and maybe we'll get lucky and it'll ship faster. I think it's a decent amount of time, but you really don't know in the end nowadays, right?
No,
so
you don't. Yeah, I know my factory. God bless them, love them to death. Right, they're really, really good people, but they just had a shutdown where they were forced for a couple of months and they couldn't do anything. So again, it's an unfortunate thing, but there's not much we can do.
No, we just got to keep the fans and the gamers informed of what's happening, and like stay on top of it to make sure that the lines of communication are open. And I think that's important. But I'm pretty optimistic with mine. My guys are going; they're doing a great job, and right now it's we're all guns blazing, so to speak.
Good. Now, do you plan on taking Stalingrad Z or any of these other themes into other mediums? Because I do comic books as well as board games.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, cool. Yeah. So
like a novel of this would be really nice.
Yeah. So I mean, without looking too ambitious, I used to be in the movie world too, as producing and stuff, right? So, okay, my feeling with Stalingrad Z and with anything I do nowadays is to see how we can, broaden the scope of the IP, right? Of the story, right? So, we use Nat Jones, who's a comic book artist, to do the art, and we may find an avenue there. We wrote the journal, which is it's an 88-page journal with images and all stuff in it, so it's pretty substantial. That already exists, and people have bought it, and it's going to be in the deluxe set. So I'm not rushing to get it into bookstores as a book, but because I'm too much to do. But once everything is rolling and out, then I can take it, a finished product, go, hey, listen, where can I bring this? Maybe it can be in bookstores, maybe it can't. Maybe find a publisher who would look at it, who's more connected than me. So there's that avenue there. We have basically an outline for a movie, which is the journal. So there is in time I'll start sending that out to people I know. So as far as it becoming a movie, I don't know. It might. I know some people who are cool, and I've worked with some really great artists. So we might get a little bit lucky. You always need to get a bit lucky. Sure. And but I do want to do is, if depending on how well the game does and the other games do, is invest into a really good kind of short film where I'm not going to make any money on it. It's not about making money. It's like take like $100,000. What if I could afford it, right? So I did. Like I couldn't do it now. 200 is great, but it's enough to make the game and have a thing, right? But if that can build, if I'm fortunate enough to build a good following up to maybe around the $500,000 mark, which I don't think is out of this, like, I think we're on the right trajectory that we could do that. So if we do that, I could decide to take some money and create this really cool, it's basically content. And then that would help if we did a good job doing a film, like a live action film, World War II Zombies, that could propel the theme and the story further and get it into the hands of people that could look at making it more of a film. And it's a bit of a high hope. But what the hell, man? I just go for it. So if I can do it, I'm going to,
That's right. Go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
So I just posted the website here in the comments. So that
great, thank you.
Where else can we find you at?
So did you post the one on the Raybox website?
Yep, rayboxgames.com.
Yeah, so there you'll see it. It's kind of the front thing there. Of course, we're on Facebook, Escape from Stalingrad Z Insiders. And we're on Instagram under Paths Unknown Game. And the same thing so those are the three main places. We have a YouTube channel as well, which is under Raybox Games. There's another Raybox Games one doing some anime thing. So I don't know how we differentiate it, but it's Raybox Games. Yeah, so those are the main areas there. You'll see some of our stuff.
Let me bring up the channel here.
Question.
Are you on YouTube or on?
Yeah, I'll grab the channel quick. Yep. And you said it was Raybox?
Raybox Games.
Games. Excellent. Yeah. There it is. Because I want to make sure I share this one.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that video is great. I watched that video. I mean, when it's your baby, you made it. I probably watch it more than I should. But every time I put it, I pass by. Oh, I gotta watch it again. It has all these great memories attached to it, the whole development process and everything.
Yeah. And especially when you said you came back to it after 25 years?
Like 25 years later, yeah. Actually, that one probably 27 because I started working on, it was a long time. But I'm older and wiser. I think when I went back to it and started redeveloping the rules and taking a look, I'm going, why did I design it that way? That doesn't seem like, so I feel like I'm a better designer than I was. And I haven't designed games in 25 years, and yet those 25 years have definitely made me wiser somehow.
I did the same kind of thing recently. I took my first game and I put it out as a director's cut. Where I reworked it, and I'm like, I can't believe I did some of this. So I made it better in the new version, kind of a thing.
That's awesome. When you get a chance, email me your links and stuff like that. Maybe you did already. I can't remember because we're right in the middle of production, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Send it.
All right. Yeah, I keep seeing the pictures of we're working on the scenarios, and I'm like, what can I see?
Yeah, and we're working on the new art. You can see we had a T-34 tank up, which looks super cool. And we had a Kuba wagon. Oh no, we had a kitten crab. But we're working on some other tanks and stuff that'll get dropped into the maps and, dead soldiers and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, it's. I like the way it's looking. I like the way things are going. And again, what really drew me in was the fast setup. Because again, you have your map, and then you have everything you need to set up the map over here. And it's like, okay, put these things here, put your guy here, go. Like I can do that.
Yeah, it is really fast. It's like 1 minute. Like maybe the very first time it'll take you 2 minutes because you're kind of figuring out. But after you've done it a couple of times, it's a minute to set up a map. Yeah, for sure. It was a total thing. And I think that you'll like I think when you get the final game, I think you'll be happy to find kind of the development of it just that much a bit more refined. And we've taken questions like you've had and other fans have had, and I've lobbied people throughout the whole year about giving me input. So we've always used that information to make things better and more clear.
Good. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be critical.
No. But I just want you to know it's going to even be better if you like it now.
Nice. Yeah. Again, the only thing that really held me up was at first was the remembering. Again, it was just spread 100 different ways. Was remembering. Okay, searching is the whole action, but picking up is one movement unless you're running, which then it's two.
Yeah.
And then once I printed out, like you said, once I printed out that sheet and I have that sheet next to me, I'm like, all right, I got this. There's no problem.
Yeah. And we're going to do some more playthrough videos, so that'll help. And we're going to do a walkthrough with all of the rules and video, and have it when it's on YouTube. It'll say move. Like you could just go to wherever in the rule you have a question about. So you would type in searching, or you'd look for searching, and then it would just go to the rule and you'd see the example. So if you didn't read it or you weren't sure, you'll find it there. So that sort of assistance, I think people enjoy and want more and more nowadays, right? So,
and that's how I got covering and everything down, was your last playthrough, last how-to video. So that really helped out a bit. Because, again, sometimes it's easier for people like me, with, again, busy and all, to see videos like that than to sit and read through the book. Not that the book was overly complex by any means. It was what it needed to be.
I'd say it's like a mid-complexity, really that's what it would be. Sometimes, because a lot of the fans of the game now, of my game, were Zombicide fans. They're because obviously they like zombies and cool stuff like that.
Sure.
And the best way I could compare it to anyone who's played Zombicide is, if you think of Zombicide as checkers, Stalingrad Z is like chess. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's a little bit more meaty. It's got more options, more tactics. Both games can be fun to play, but chess is more involved, and that's how I would describe the kind of the two types of game that they are.
Yeah, because and like I said, with being able to set them up with covering, or do I run over here and search or grab this item and then come back and help the other person? Yeah, that's something I really liked about it. Yeah, plus the 5. I just looked through the stretch goals. 5 new scenarios were unlocked.
Yeah,
That's,
that puts it over 100.
Good luck. God bless you and good luck.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Like we designed all the scenarios. Like, I mean, they're all mapped out. So I have a matrix, which looks like this is like the page 1 of the matrix.
Nice.
And this is, if it'll actually goes this way. But basically, yeah, these are stories. Oh no, they're not in the right. Oh yeah, they're in the right order. Yeah, so this will go along, and there's it'll basically you'll see it do different things. Yeah. Anyway, so we have a matrix that was already been done. Like I did that before the Kickstarter. Each one of those squares is a different scenario. They already had a name. A whole bunch of them were designed already, and we knew what was going to happen. So now it's just about putting the nuts and bolts down on it, like where the zombies start and writing some of the text for it. So it can be daunting, but we're coming into it like well into it, so we're not like we're designing from scratch or anything.
Okay. Now, again, this is going to be a designer geek kind of question.
Sure.
But when I make my characters and things for my game, I have in my head, I already know whenever the stats are, they're going to add up to 16.
Okay.
And then certain abilities have certain point values attached to it, depending on what they can do.
Right.
How did you decide on how many zombies you can place out? Or again, it's just the designer. If you don't want to answer, it's okay.
No, I have no problem answering it. It's how are you asking specifically how do I balance the game, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just find that stuff interesting.
Well, first of all, I've been I did have a hiatus, but I've been designing actually designing games for over 10 years, so I have a lot of experience, and most of that is doing miniatures games. So and doing tactical combat miniature games. So I've grown to with a base of knowledge that allowed me to instinctually kind of figure that out very closely. So when I assessed what I was doing, it was pretty close right off the hop. So I go, these are the type of things that we need to do for the characters that they need, and that we want them to progress. And this is what the zombies can do. And because it was set originally as a solo game, like it plays all the ways, but I created it first as a solo game, I was able to test it like all by myself. So to make sure that it was. And I did it a few times and said, yeah, this feels good. Like it felt good very, very quickly. Like, dude, it felt good. Like the first time I played it, I was like, oh my God, this is working like on the first time. The first time. And then it was with Tom and Wes, my guys, and we did it. I played it, then Tom played it, then Wes, then we did it again. And we're just like, this is just flowing beautifully. So it was like, in a way, it was a little bit surprising that it would come off so well, so quickly. But then again, I was doing it for a long time. So, that came across. And another big thing, I think, is that if you look at the zombie rules, like the zombies movement and stuff, it's pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really complicated. There's a lot of words. Well, there's a fair amount there to describe it because we have to cover different situations. But how they move is simple. They move one square. One square, any direction. That's it. They just move one square. There's no figuring shit out. They can't go here or they can't go there, but they only move one square. And then if the leader shows up, then they can move 2 squares. So that becomes a lot more deadly, right? But that's it. That's how they move. Like it's not like, it's not rocket science. And then how they attack too is like you don't roll for zombies to attack. You don't know. You just, if they get beside you and they have movement available, then you're locked in combat. And then so that you're in the movie, right? So right. And then if you're still locked in combat, you're just going to take damage every turn. There's no roll. You just take the damage. Like you're screwed. You can try to break out. Hopefully you have initiative so you can. But it's very tense. But I guess the point was that I didn't overcomplicate the zombies or the opponents. So to figure out if they're balanced or not, it wasn't as difficult because I don't have to figure out, well, this weapon fires at this range, but not at close up, it gets pluses and there it gets negatives. And this weapon here, you know, you can fire one-handed, but you get, like, there's all these like variables. So I reduced it as simply as possible. And that made it easier. That made it easier. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you saying that because I've been making this one for over 10 years too. And it has gotten to that point where I can make a deck of for a location or for a bad guy, and I can just know what's going to work.
Yeah, you just know.
I've done it so long that,
exactly. I mean, we're like, look, we're professionals at what we're doing. You ask a bricklayer who's been bricklaying for 10 years, and you're like, how long will it take you to build that wall? If they go, oh, I'm not sure, you know they're lying.
Yeah,
dude, you know how long it's going to take you to build that wall. You built 1,000 walls at least, so you know. So you just know, like, it's a little bit different with us because, of course, you know, but you kind of know a lot. So you bring it very close to where you need to go for sure. And it's just, like I said, any pro, auto guy, whoever, man, they just know.
Yep. Yeah, it was good.
You still got to do your due diligence and work, but you know, it makes it easier.
Yeah. And I try to do the same thing as I give I call it the beta print and play.
Yeah.
I give that out as much as I can and then have fun with it and then come back for the campaign kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, I put a Charlie beta, like you had the Charlie one and you had I didn't call them that, but really it was like early beta and then the regular beta and then and now like now I could put it out again, but I'm like, I already put it out twice. I better wait till like it's done. But the rules in the teaser 5 scenarios, when the game is finished, those will be all available for free still, but with, you know, obviously the final art, the final everything free. So you can have the rules, have the first 5 scenarios and try out the game and kind of see how it's going. You know, print out your character sheets, technically you just need to print out the map if you don't want to print everything out and just look on your PC for the information, you know?
Yeah.
So, that's going to continue to be free in the final format. Free. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Again, I know that I'll keep following. I'm a part of the insiders there. And
Thank you.
Yeah. And I keep spreading it as much as I can. I hope you don't mind if once in a while during some of these sessions, if I post, you know, about the game, like say, hey, here's new scenarios that came out or something like that.
I totally appreciate that. Of course, we have to help you. Like, we're independent publishers. I'm still like, you know, I don't even have a card. So.
Oh, I did. Where the heck did I put those? Again, I have so much. My space is so cluttered with.
You should see we're going to be moving in Spain. I'm in Seville in southern Spain, and we're moving houses, and I'll finally have a office in my house. Now it's just like a nook, pile of stuff. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to it.
But I did my business card was a character card. So
that's an awesome way to do it. Yeah, I almost want to do a card game so I could do a character card of like me.
It's pretty neat. Yeah. We'll get you in one of mine. We'll put you in one of mine.
Ah, cool. But yeah, of course, Nick, thank you. I can't thank you enough for anything you've done to help promote putting me on here and talking about my game. And of course, feel free to share, as much as it makes sense. And I really appreciate it. I think, interested people who are interested in this kind of game would be thankful too.
Not a problem. I'm glad to do it. Believe me, it is. It's something awesome. It's something I really enjoy. It's in my box of print and play here, and I can't wait for the full version, and I look forward to it.
Very good.
But we've been on about an hour, and
okay.
I do have somebody else that was supposed to be coming in.
Great.
It's really going pretty well. But I'd love to have you back on anytime you want to come on.
Yeah, let me know as the time is. I'll be happy to come back on, whether it's at the tail end of what's happening here or on the launch time area, just because when I have like the stuff to show more or people have it. So for sure it would be great.
Yeah, I didn't realize you were in Spain. I thought you were still here in Canada. And I'm
Well,
like,
right now I'm
oh, I
in
feel
London,
bad.
Ontario, so I'm in Canada right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, otherwise it would have been way too late for me. But
Yeah.
so we're here. Like I basically have a designer retreat going on right now. So me, Tom, and Wes, the guy, my team of guys, I rented a house in London. I live in Toronto. Well, my parents live in Toronto, so that's where I stay when I come to Canada now. My
Nice.
parents' basement. Anyways, it's a nice basement. But I rented a house in London where they live, and we they've gone out. They're gone out to do some stuff, but we basically sleep here, eat here. I cook every day for everyone. Like I love cooking, so I'm cooking lunch and dinner. And every day we wake up and work on games, and we've got stuff laid out like permanently because we got tons of space because it's not our house. So we're not using it where we have to worry about our wives or whatever, complaining. So it's just us. We're here for a month, and it's basically a retreat. We just get together and design games, and we've done it for the last couple of years, just for shorter periods. So this one's quite, it's long. It's actually 6 weeks in total that we're going to be here, kind of hunkering down. And anyway, so that's right. So I'm in Canada right now, living in Spain and traveling back and forth. And of course, doing shows in the US coming year, doing shows in Germany, in England. Yeah. A lot of traveling. Yeah. Actually, last year, which was a COVID year, of course, Google at the end of it told me, it gives you a report. And I was in 31 countries last year.
Oh, my.
No, not 31 countries. Sorry, 31 cities.
Oh,
but still, was a bunch of countries.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Not, but I was like, where the hell did I go? I couldn't even remember. But anywhere that the plane stopped became a city. But yeah, I hopped around a lot.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll get to see you at Origins, or if I can get to Gen Con, maybe we can get together there. Or,
yeah, like for sure. Like this year, I have nothing to sell really. So I mean, of note. But next year I want to definitely do like a slew of stuff. Origins is on our radar, Gen Con, Historicon, Adepticon in Chicago.
Yeah.
Gamma again, of course.
Sure.
And then in Europe we'll do Essen. There's one in Holland that's really good that I'd like to do again. There's a couple in the UK, so I'll be at most of them next year. For a few years, I'll go to a lot, and then I'm going to probably, tone it down, but other people will go, and yeah.
Well, that's good. Again, I hope we get to hang out and get to meet up there more. And
yeah, me too.
I really appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep plugging away at these.
All right, man.
And I can't wait for the new stuff.
All right, thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it, and yeah, man, have a good next interview, and have have a great weekend, and we'll chat again soon.
I hope so. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Goodbye.
See you. All right. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Really enjoy having him on. I can't wait to do it again. Yeah, if you have not yet had a chance to get Stalingrad Z, let me throw the Kickstarter up here just in case that, yep, there is something for late pledges. So I'm going to put this up here. And I want you to make sure you get a chance to check that out. Because really, again, it's even if you just get the books, like we said, it's miniatures agnostic. In other words, you don't need to grab their minis or their standees if you have minis laying around from another game. Like I have the Resident Evil board game laying around here, and we could use those if you wanted to. Heck, like he was saying, you could pretend it's Resident Evil back in the day, if that's what you want. But yeah, I knew as soon as I saw this that I was going to have to grab it. So again, I appreciate him coming on. I do want to, again, I send out something to Big Sexy. He's supposed to come on with us maybe for a few minutes. I know it's late for him, but I wanted to show you before we head out. We have been working hard on getting, let's see, there he is. Yeah, we've been working hard on getting the map tiles and things done for Gone Hunting. How's it going, Big Saxon? Oh, I can't hear you. Let me drop this. Nope. It's not me, I know. That's. Make sure it's plugged in again, because I remember the kids unplugged it last time. I blame Autumn. I'm gonna put the big sexy stinger on here just so we can see it again, because I like. There we go. Yeah, he's checking out his mic and everything else. That happens sometimes. It's not a big deal.
How about now?
Now I can hear you, Booba.
Hey, what's up? Sorry about that, guys.
That was my Dutch coming out. Now the camera's off, but I can hear you. So
now I lost the camera.
I've lost my mind. So I mean, if that helps you any.
Oh, that helps. It helps. I was pulling on cords. I probably popped it.
Yeah.
Give me a second here.
That's all right. Take your time. Take your time. Yeah, I've been working like crazy on this. The gone hunting stuff the last few days. Cause I needed to take a break from. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like working on the Slaughterville stuff, right? But I wanted to take a bit of a brain break from it. And for those that didn't get a chance to see it yet, here's the cover for the box. Whoop, there we go. We have the Gone Hunting logo up here. Again, I had to use this picture. I mean, it was just too cool not to use. I mean, and then I put the 1 to 4 player game down here. Big Sexy Outdoors logo. There's the Laughing Rogue logo. There we go. Now we're all set in there.
This is cool. Can you see something?
That's the main. That's the main box cover for it. Well, of course, we'll do a back, the back of the box and everything else. But in the meantime, we've also been working on creating because I like having these for people, these handy dandy reference sheets for when you're playing. Now, again, we're still in the process of testing and everything else, but each of the map tiles, which you're going to see soon, are going to have all of these icons on it. And this just gives you a hint, and we'll get one for each player. Absolutely, of course, and it'll show you what each icon means, what you do with it, and then here's the basics of the turn order. Now, will this change? There's a possibility of it once we do the testing and everything else, just like with everything going on. But we're working on this part right here, placing down the map tile and moving. That's where we're focusing on now. Then we'll care about getting the bonuses from the tiles. Then we'll check the trophy cards, or we'll worry about doing the hunting part, then doing the trophy cards and all of the other cards and everything else. But in the meantime, here's the map tiles. They are going to be hexes, and each one is going to be themed, whether it's a single, like you see here's the forest, and it's going to have the icon of what it is, so you know exactly which one it is, as well as icons of what you're going to gain from it. So if you overturn this tile and place it, then you're going to get a trophy card, and you're going to get a move token that you can cash in later. Over here, if you overturn this one, you'll get $1, a white bullet, and an extra range that you can cash in at any time. And that's the nice thing about it, is you don't have to use it the instant it comes up. You can bank them and save them for later. Here's the store card that we're going to add in. Same thing with the cabin cards. Now I didn't also make the miss cards yet. You know, the funny things for when you screw up and you miss, because we're gonna miss. Big Sexy must have been having some trouble, so he bounced out for a minute. So yeah, that's what we've been working on. And then not only do we have the singles, but we also put it in where we have multiples. Okay, so this one here is the fields and the forest, as you can see by the icons on it. And these are going to be like 4-inch tiles, 3.5-inch tiles, plenty big enough for you to put the animals on, as well as your pawn, your character thing. And they give you things too. And what I did at first, okay, you know how we have the black border here? I had the black border here in the middle. I wasn't a fan of it. It just didn't look right. But then when I got this dirt path texture and I put that in, then it made it look more like the lands were connected. It made it flow much more smoothly. So then we'll have fields and mountains, fields and water, mountains and water, etc., etc. But then I also made only three of these, where it's one of everything. And what you have to do is when you draw a tile, like let's say you're up here and you draw the mountain tile. Well, you have to lay it next to something where at least one of the edges has a mountain on it. Okay, has a mountain a part of it. Now, if you draw something and it doesn't have a match, you discard it. You draw again. You just get a new one. We're not here to punish anybody because of something like that. We want you to have fun with it. That's the whole goal of this. And so let's say you draw this fields and water, but there's no fields or there's no water that you can attach it to. Maybe all the corners are being used, all the sides are being used. Well, draw another one until you find something you can use, And I think that'll make it much more friendly. Hey, Booba.
Sorry, guys.
No, yeah, completely understood. I see a bunch of typing in there. Yeah, so we're good. All right. So yeah, I was just showing them the map cards or the map tiles. I don't know what you saw of it.
I was watching the whole time, but I was having major difficulties, man.
Oh, okay. So what do you think?
I listen. I've been watching you send me stuff and go through it. I've been watching the cards, and I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie. I am like super excited to get a test run in. So,
and I think we're ready to do. I think I'm ready to do testing of moving because I have them. I have all of those things printed out, right?
okay.
So once I do the testing of moving, because that's honestly a simple thing. I think the moving and laying out these tiles is going to be fine. But like I said, all you have to is if you draw one of these, you can put it anywhere because it has a corner that matches everything, right? But once I have that, then I'm gonna work on hunting part, and that's where I'm really gonna need your help. Is I want to make sure that the hunting feels right, and then I'll throw in the miss cards, the store cards, and the cabin cards, and everything else, and we'll go from there. That's how I do it anyway. So. But yeah, we're moving along. I wanted to show everybody, and I wanted you to be here when we did. If I appreciate you stopping in. Don't get me wrong. I know it's late for you, being a 3-time grandpa and all. Just
Hey, I was actually in the middle of editing a video, so I got home late, and I was like, I really want to get this video done.
mm-hmm.
So I was sitting here anyway. We're good.
Nice. But yeah, like if you draw this mountain tile and you were able to lay it out, it's going to give you 2 white bullets. Remember the bullets when we were playing? Yep. How you could roll them and it would give you the shots. Well, I thought, because we weren't getting enough bullets out, for the people. And I thought, hey, maybe using these tiles and giving you these bullet bonuses on the tiles, and this one just gives you +1 range so you can shoot extra tiles away, then you'd have more chances for shooting, and you can save them for later or you can use them all right away. It's between you and God, whatever you want to do. Same thing with this range thing, these 2 boots here. So each boot is going to let you move an extra spot or gain extra movement points, I should say. So, yeah. This one will give you $1 and one of the cabin cards once we get those all finished. Remember the trophy cards? This will give you one of the trophy cards, an extra one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So again, I hope you like it. And
I said to you the very first day we just started this was the only way we're going to know anything is to sit down and play it.
That's right, baby. So yeah,
I'm ecstatic for that. I love what you do, and together I believe we can do just about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, let me finish up the movement part. As soon as I get that down, again, that should only take me about a couple of days to figure that out once I get, time to really push on it. Then I'm going to jump right into the hunting part because we already have the animals printed, right? We already did that.
Yep, we did all that.
So we have them ready, so we can start putting animals out on each one. That's my only thing, because remember when we played, it was too many animals out. There was just too many. So we got to figure out how we're going to spawn animals, how we're going to bring them out, and how we're going to what do you call it? Get them to move and get the animals to move, and not just the people. So that's the other thing we're working on, and it's a fun thing. Sure, it takes a while, but anything worth doing, is worth doing well. So yeah, I just wanted to give you the heads up of where we're at and what we're doing.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I'm excited. So
yeah, I was looking at some of the stuff you were posting the last couple of days at the streams and all. What are you working on?
I took my dog out tonight. Went for a walk. She hasn't been out. Try to get her out every 2 weeks for a good run. Because she hunts and stuff. And man, she found this 2-foot deep water hole filled with coal dirt. She would not leave.
Oh Jesus!
She wouldn't. We had to bring her home, give her a bath. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to you. I cursed at her the whole time. I was like, literally every mud puddle she could find, she'd roll in.
Nice.
I said to my kid, she better enjoy this.
She's
She's beat though. Let me tell you, she's sleeping on the couch. She's beat.
Wore it out. Yeah, I think I saw Nick was with her in the one video.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, my brain is 100,000 different places, so if I get something wrong, that's why.
I had the kids out last week to Fiddler Run Club stock. That's that's a video I'm editing right now.
I saw the snippets of that.
I'm excited to get that video out.
Yeah, we were just on with I don't know if you saw that I was on with that other guy.
I had you on, but I was editing and the sound I couldn't hear, so I was just like, I'll wait for him to message me.
Yeah. He was we were on with his game because his is a zombie game, and I like the horror games too, so that's what we were doing with that. I think I might have found a way to actually video down and have the camera on me too. So I think I might, so we can show the game while we're playing it.
Nice. That's the goal. The goal, if the people can really see the game live, they can give a real good input on their own what they think.
Yep. That's one of the things I'm working on.
And that's, I think, at this whole thing, when we're done, the whole key is to get everybody's opinion. And did you tell them that we have actually a set of game critics set up?
No. Well, I'll be honest, I didn't say anything about that.
So that's something you're going to want to tell them. You're going to want to let them know that once you and I feel the game is ready for actual play, we've decided to put game critics. We have 6 game critics.
Mm-hmm.
People that messaged us, they wanted to test the game. They don't know anything about it except for it's called Gone Hunting. And
that is a beautiful thing to have because they have no expectations. Like I know how the game is supposed to play, so it's a different level of testing as opposed to giving it to somebody blind. Yeah, and I was showing the reference sheet off that I sent you. I'm sorry, I like the dividers. Helps my brain.
I won't lie to you. I don't like them.
Now, do you not like it outside or just the one in here?
I don't like the outside border. I just think it opened up more. Now, here's the thing, Chris. It's me. You want millions of people to buy this game.
Sure.
Ain't about what I want. You want about what people want. That's why I said that's simple questions I think we need to ask.
Yeah. And I know this
here's one. Do you ever go out to your people, your viewers, and post things like that? Hey, looking for a vote today. Which one looks better? And go to Big Sexy Outdoors, man. My viewers will help you out.
Okay.
And ask them which one do you think looks better, and get a vote. That would be your best bet because my opinion is really one opinion. You want a bunch of opinions.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I usually do that when we're closer to when we're getting finalizing everything, where we're going to get ready to go to the Kickstarter campaign. That's when I'll ask about that kind of stuff. But I mean, you get it done early, right? Well, it's not going to hurt anything.
Now, I did see you showed a box cover, and let me say, What about the box cover? I'll tell you what, that alone has me excited.
Yeah, we got just the right picture for that one, and it came together. I bet you it took me about half an hour just to do the gold lettering. Whoops, get back there. Just to do that gold lettering and the burn in, how it looks like it's wood burned.
I'm absolutely in love with the box.
Yeah, I made sure to save the logo as something separate so we can use it on all the other stuff too.
Let me put it to you like this. Again, I'm in with you on it. So my opinion could mean nothing. but from my side of it, one of the things, speaking to Chris, your buddy from the guy you met doing all this stuff I talked to the last time I was on your thing.
Andrew.
Yeah. Speaking of Andrew and asking a lot of questions to Andrew a couple weeks ago, one thing I asked Andrew is what's the key? What are we looking for? And Andrew's words were grab. You want people to see it and want it. My opinion, it can't get better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's prime. If I seen that, the first thing I would do is be like, oh.
Because it also brings in, because I remember the Big Sexy logo has the deer on the right too, and a little bit of a mountain here. So it also kind of reminds me a little bit of that, but I like the sun, like the orange and the blue with the sunset thing. That makes it really pop up.
It's just a whole box. I can't explain it. It's just everything together. Just as like boom. If you want eye grab, like I said, Andrew said when it comes to comic books, first thing in a comic book is eye grab. You don't open a comic book and read it, and he's right. That's 100%.
Yep.
This is eye grab. This is wow. Now the key is when they start playing this game and they're done with it, man, I got to show this to so-and-so.
Yep.
So that's going to be the next game. I won't lie to you. I showed this cover to some people tonight. Now, I need you to hear this, and I want your viewers to hear this. So the cover alone, I showed to some people. People don't hunt, have nothing to do with it. And the first thing they said is, if that game plays anything as good as that cover looks, you're going to be selling that game at Cabela's.
Nice.
So, as I said to you from the first day we tested it and started going over the ideas, was we need this game that everybody wants to play. That's the goal.
Yep.
And, it's the game critics, big deal. I mean, some people may say not, but I've never made a board game. But I can tell you if helping you just the pieces I am, it's a big deal because my opinion really doesn't matter. Neither does yours.
True.
You and I could agree, and 100 people say no. I mean, what can I use as an example, Chris? Family Feud. When they do their board, they say so-and-so out of 100 said, right?
Yep.
I mean, there it is. So I know me, I'd be like, dude, them answers suck. But the reality is it's not me. It was 100 people who looked at it besides me,
Yeah.
So I hope you're as excited as I am. I know that.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I've been working on this like crazy for the last couple of days. Like I said,
Go ahead.
I was up until like 1:30 this morning, cutting out these tiles for the moving thing, and I've been laying out maps just like, okay, how does it look if I lay it out this way? What happens if I do this? And yeah, I've just been playing with these things for a couple of hours.
I won't lie, I can tell. It looks like your beauty rest has got back.
Well, I get ugly sleep. I don't get beauty sleep. I just go right to ugly sleep. But yeah, I had to make this the Big Sexy Outdoors, the orange, so that you could see it on the background here. But I like it in orange. I ain't gonna lie.
I love it in orange, and I also love that you went back to the original print. When we printed our shirts and our hats and all that, we couldn't use that print because of the way it breaks up. It wouldn't do the vector file correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely in love with that. You went back to the original in the box.
But if you have a different one you'd rather I use, please tell me. I'll gladly grab it.
No, I told you that box cover. I am set in stone. That's it.
That's going to grab people because what's going to be on the
That's
side? What's going to be on the side will be this same kind of a thing. The same picture here. I'm going to move the Gone Hunting part down here because it's on the side of the box. That's a little thinner. So this way, that's going to be the eye catcher right there. If they're hiding it on the side of the shelf, it'll be that. So it'll still be boom. And of
Yeah,
course,
I'm if you stood that box up and I walked by and looked at it, I'm 100. The first thing I would do would be like, damn, look at that. I'd be walking over looking at it.
Okay.
That's an eye grabber to me. Whether I buy it or not, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I would or wouldn't. I'm going to tell you that it would grab my attention. That's the goal.
Yep. If I can get you to stop and take a look at it, that's we're halfway there. Yeah, I got it. Then I'm going to take this, and then I got to turn this into the Kickstarter page when we go to launch. So I want to try to keep the same color scheme and the same feel of it. So,
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's going to be my goal for that too.
I don't know anything about your Kickstarter stuff. I don't know anything. When you tell me you're so and so or so, I don't know. I don't know anything.
I think I've done like 10 of them by now, 9 or 10 different Kickstarter campaigns. So I've done a few, and I'm used to it. It's just they are time consuming, but I know we're going to get it done. And
I'll be honest with you, I'm just hoping some people really taking back this game because I'm again with the game critics and at the end of this, I think it's going to be really worth something.
I should post it. Did I post this to them to see what they thought of it?
What's that?
I think I posted something in Game Critics.
Yes, you did.
Because I know I'm
you
crazy.
Posted the cover. You just posted the cover. I don't think they need an opinion on the cover.
No, I just wanted to see what they thought of it.
Now them cards, that would be a good one. Throw them cards out.
Oh, the tiles.
Remember you said which one do you really think? I mean, I think that'd be more important if somebody else voted on it than me. I want what the people want.
Okay, because I do have the one posted that's without the borders. So I'll post the one quick with the borders, and then we'll see what they think there.
I want what the people want. I want this game on every shelf of Cabela's and Bass Pro.
Sure.
Dunham's. You name it, I want it there. Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we're going big or going home.
That's right. You know it, baby.
That's all Big Sexy does. He goes big.
But yeah, I knew as soon as we made, I knew the lettering had to be that goldish kind of style lettering because then it looked like it was
looks engraved.
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yeah, it looks engraved. Looked like it was made to be right on that sign.
And then I was looking at this spot here, and I'm like, it looked a little empty. What if I would burn some antlers into it? So I did that, and I just leave that one. That looked good. That looked good.
Perfect.
That looked good the way it was. Yeah.
It is absolutely perfect. Do not touch that sign. I'll drive to your house.
Well, hey, maybe I'll do it just so you come down and visit.
Hey, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I've showed that box cover to many people, and I mean it is. Everybody's like, "Wow, really? What's your game about?" Like right into conversation.
Good.
So.
And the smart thing for us will be is when we get a playable copy, is like you said, hand it out to people. Let them test it and see how they think of it. And then when it comes time to actually buy it, then they know how it plays already. If they like it, then they can jump on in and pick it up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, look, let's face facts. I mean, the only other way you're going to sell this game with a better box is if my face is on it.
I thought about that. Like, instead of the sun back here, just put your face.
Yeah, I mean, you could put like this. Like, I could just be like this, standing there with my big sexy tattoo up. So,
That's what I'm thinking.
Trust me, that ain't going to sell, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to know what Andrew thinks of this cover. So I'd like the man who told me if it grabs attention, that's what we want. I'd like to know what he thinks of this.
Yeah, he was saying about coming in, too, because he wants to talk to me about the comic book stuff. I didn't want to bore you with the comic book stuff, but I'll invite him in if you want.
Yeah, hop him in here. I don't have to stay for the whole thing if he's in here. I'd really like to get his opinion, on his thoughts of this cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I just sent him the link while we were talking. So
Now, when he comes in here, can you get this full screen? I don't know if you can or can't. I don't know much about it.
This is the best I can do.
That's beautiful. I'll take that.
No. That's beautiful.
No, that's beautiful.
This is just a cover. Yeah. So there we go.
Good, just like that. Just so you can see the whole thing.
But I think this took me, honestly, maybe about 3 hours to make. So
really?
Yeah. Just because I played around with a ton of different fonts, a ton of different how to make it the gold look style. Some of them didn't look right. They were all like casino gold, where it was all flashy and sparkly and stuff.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't sitting with me. I wanted it to look like it was on, like if you were buying a custom Bernelli or Benelli, you know what I mean, the shotgun.
Yeah, the Bernellis.
Yeah. and it had their gold signature on the side. That's the gold look I wanted. Is that
what you did on that sign up there?
That's the style I went for. And
is that the wood Bernelli?
Where's my gun? Look, you're making me go bald.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Honestly, the wood burn took me maybe like five or 10 steps in Photoshop to get it in there.
Now, did you hand do that? Was that like a hand, like you took your mouse and made it, or did you?
Well, no, I had a bunch of different antlers, and I'm like, okay, which one looks cool? And then I went with this one because I liked this one because it was wide enough that it fit that bottom. Because these didn't look right when I did the wood burn thing. There was too much to it.
I believe that wider one's the better one too.
And then what I did with this, it took a lot of, I bet you there were 25 or 30 steps just to get this font to look the way it does. Hey man.
What's up?
What's up?
Keeping it busy. So we wanted to get your thoughts. Okay. You were talking before about things need to be eye grabbing and eye catching. What do you think of this? It's the cover for the next game.
Feels like Cabela's, man.
Yeah, that's my boy.
That's what we were going for. So that's we're loving that. We're loving that feedback.
I think I got how you pronounce that company correctly. Hopefully.
Yep.
I just said to Chris, Andrew's opinion would really mean something to me on this cover because he's one of them guys who said it's got an eye grab right off the shelf.
Pretty much.
Good.
But feels like Cabela's was a good one for me. I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty happy answer.
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better about it because it's like putting anything out at first, you're going to be nervous about it, but yeah, and when somebody says something like that, where it matches exactly what you were thinking, so there we go. That's it. We got the cover.
Let me ask a question about this game because I know nothing about this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, and at any point stop me, that it is definitely wilderness, it is hunting, and it is going to hit a certain demographic, for lack of a better word. Right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, we're going to have, let me put this to where we can see all of our pretty faces. But yeah, we're going to have these map tiles that we lay out to set out the wilderness. And people are going to go through and they're going to actually find animals, hunt animals, and gather trophies and try to complete objectives. Yeah.
See, sorry to interrupt. The reason why I asked this, and this is a common mistake, is that people think you need a 1 million person audience. You don't need a 1 million person audience. You need the right audience that is going to pay you a good amount of money. And the idea is that if you're hitting a group of people who tend to be more interested in the wilderness and outdoor stuff and have a hunting orientation, but are also a bit nerdy, you could be hitting that niche. And that's also the thing that you want to capture with your game cover and your artwork is you want to connect with that audience because you want that audience to spend real big money. And so there are two theories in business, and I don't need to go too deep into it because I think everybody understands it. It's either that your product is at a very reasonable price point and it's for everybody. Bubble gum is a good example of that. Or you have such a niche product or such a position that people are like, I want to spend bank on it, and I'm willing to spend $300, $400, $500 on something. I'm a big fan of Zenoscope, and I spend a lot of money with them every single year. And people who are fans of that company, every virtual live stream, they're spending $500 to $600. So they don't need a huge audience. They have a big audience, but they also have a very expensive audience. So I think if you're targeting a particular audience, it doesn't matter, because if you connect with that audience, they're going to spend the money, which is what you really want. And I think if that's what you're trying to do, there you go. And that's just my thoughts.
No, and they're good because that's pretty much what we were going with. Yeah, I mean, we'd like it to be as mainstream as possible, but again, I completely understand that not everybody is going to get into a hunting game. If I themed it differently, maybe somebody else would be into it, but then I'd lose the hunting aspect of it. And that's the important thing, is the hunting part to me with it. So yeah, that's actually a good point. And that's where I've been at. And I'm going to try to make this as mid-weight, family friendly as we can. Lots of fun, funny stuff going on inside of it, especially with the miss cards. We're going to have cards like when you miss an animal, you'll have to get a miss card, and that's going to be just something goofy.
Like, nice shot, dum-dum.
Yeah,
so, just something to kind of make you chuckle and make you laugh a little bit when you make a mistake. Think about it. Now, you don't hunt, but when you're out with your buddies and you miss, I know they don't let you live it down. There's always some smart comment, so that was kind of something we threw in to keep that hunting aspect live in the game. You actually want them to miss, because if they miss, you get some smart ass card with it. Excuse the French.
But again, we want to also make it accessible enough that even people that don't hunt could still come in and say, hey, we get a kick out of this.
Oh, that's the challenge part to it as well. I think, we were going to really simplify the game in the beginning, and then we decided, why simplify it when we can try to gain more crowd? Yeah. So we put more of the challenge in it to make it so almost anybody can play it.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that about it. And that's where we were going with it. And that works.
Yeah, no, it's very important, I think, that understanding your audience, where I play in my business in a very particular audience, and there's companies that are sister companies to what I do. And I don't try to appease everybody, and I'm not against everybody, but you don't see me in my eBay business selling a certain book because I know what sells and I know what works. And so at the end of the day, that's kind of how I function. And I want to maximize that audience. And I think with this hunting game, you really need to hit that niche. And it's also the idea that you're breaking into a new niche market. And that's the other thing, too, that I think you have to understand when you're going into it is the people you're hitting. You have people that you're going to convert from Slaughterville, but you're also going to get a bunch of new people in, and then it's figuring out how to leverage those people, because, and I say something and it's a little dissing to me, it's probably dissing to you a little bit as well, but nerd culture has changed.
Yeah.
Where it's now acceptable to be a nerd and not get shoved into a locker. I was at on Wednesday in a store, and all these high school kids who looked jockish were going through Pokemon cards with me in this store, and we were all having a conversation. I guess they had a day off from school, and these kids, you could sort of tell they're running track or playing football. One of them was built like a football player, and he's like looking at Pokemon cards. So that's something as well, where there's probably a bunch of people who, and I'm going to say this the nicest way I could say it, who need to come out of the closet, who are hunters, who also like geek culture. And this might be their entry point, which then gets you into your other games and your other businesses, per se, in the Kickstarter land. And that's another thing, I don't even know if you thought about it, where this game could also be an entry point, where the real money cannot be in this game, but it could be getting people introduced to your entire company.
That was honestly a thought, is to try to keep, not quality, I won't sacrifice quality, but keep costs as low as you can on it, to make it where it's accessible to people that might be on the fence. Like, if I can get it for like $25-$30, I will, because then that might bring the person who says, well, I'm not really into board games, or I'm not sure if I'm into board games. Maybe they'll grab that just because they like to hunt. Take it on on your 2-week deer camp.
I'm going to challenge you, though. See, I don't think cost is the issue anymore with all these projects. I don't think it's money. I think the real issue here is the idea of, okay, is this right for me? And am I getting what this is about? Because I don't think people have a problem spending money. They want to say, I get it. They want that instant connection. And I don't know if you've ever had something in your life where you're like, I get it. Yeah. I completely get it. I'm in the middle of watching a movie and I'm like, I completely get what this movie is. And it's not a sophisticated movie, but it takes me 5 seconds to get it. And I'm like, cool. Or I'm in the middle of watching Dragon Ball for the first time in almost 15 years. And I'm like, I completely understand what I'm watching. And I don't have to rattle my brain. And I think that's the thing, too, that is very helpful. That's funny. Great corporation. I was thinking about stock in them. But I don't think the cost is your biggest hurdle. I think it's finding those people who hunt and then being like, they get it. And they need to get it in 5 seconds or less.
That's a real good point. And I'm hoping I can do that again with the eye grabber of the box cover, which would get people to pick it up and then turn it over. And what my goal is to have a great back of the box that clearly tells you exactly what's going on, but simply, like you said.
Yeah, look, I mean, I got it immediately with the Cabela thing. I mean, I played Cabela Hunter, and it came with the rifles for the Wii, and it was great. It was fun, and it's great. And I got it because the rifles are cool, and it's fun to play a shooting game on the Wii back in the day. But like, I instantly saw it, and I'm like, oh, I get what this is. This is definitely associated. And so images like that are going to instantly connect with people who hunt. And then you need to find a way how to get people who play other games who like the wilderness and are not opposed to hunting, but are more on the fence, to sort of say, hey, what image is going to connect? Because that's the whole point here, is that what connects and what drives emotional connections.
Mm-hmm. And again, another thing you said, and I don't know if but earlier you said about this could be a gateway to bring them in, because I'm not just going to have, Slaughterville or The Cult, or Gods of Metal, I'm also going to have that film noir game, that detective game that I'm doing. But I'm also going to have things based on action movies. What I did with Slaughterville, I'm going to do with things like Die Hard and Speed and Point Break, because and that this might be another way to pull in other people. Again, my goal is to try to make them as accessible as possible.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
What do you think, Big Chexy?
I'm excited. That's all I can say. I covered. That was it for me. And like I said, first thing I said, we need to get Andrew on here. That guy's honest. He's going to give us his opinion. I want to hear it. And I'm, that was ecstatic to me that you said, dude, I see Cabela's. I mean, I was not going for Cabela's at all, but it hit home. That's it. I mean, that's really the goal, is to get it on Cabela's shelf. So you read what we were thinking.
Yep.
Because I mean, I know them because aren't they also Big Bass Shop? Isn't it the same company?
Yeah,
Exactly. They bought. Yep, Cabela's bought them out.
And I mean, the only reason why I know is that I played that game. That game was just a beautiful game. And I've never been to a Cabela's. I've never been to a Big Bass shop, but I have Big Bass stuff with fishing, and obviously, but like that's kind of what it reminded me of, and it looks like that Wii U cover in a lot of ways. And I think that that's something that like, and also, you know, you throw that image up, it's probably going to do well on Facebook because it's a fun thing, and they have that little like photo ranker. And that's the other thing too that I think people don't understand is that certain things do better on Facebook. So I post a lot of memes and stuff and things with really bright neon purples and neon greens and bright colors, and also word choice really also gets it pushed out further. And I think nature, even if you just put the image up right now, I think a lot of people are like, oh, that's kind of nice. It's a deer. It's a shadow of a deer. It's a silhouette. I don't know exactly what that's called, but people are like, oh, this looks nice, man. And it's very peaceful and it's very majestic. And that's the other thing, too, that people might stop and say, oh, what's the story behind this picture? Or at least they'll like it. And then you really need to make sure it's tagged right and the image and all the links are put into there. And it's SEO the hell out of it, for lack of a better word.
Oh no, I completely understand. I teach IT as well and web design and all of this, and search engine optimization is a big thing that I talk to students about.
This one more so than your others, because unlike your other things, you can put this image up and then that image can be very shareable, right? You know, you put an image up from, you know, Slaughterville, and nothing against Slaughterville, but it's a game, it's horror, and people may or may not want to do it, and we're in trying times right now in this country. I mean, not to get too political, this week has beat the crap out of people on a lot of levels, on emotional. If you got kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And people are very, very, very unnerved. And these types of photos relax people.
Yeah.
And so now you can relax somebody and sell them without selling them.
Mm-hmm. That's good, yeah. Because I'm a member of a bunch of the hunting groups, and I can post it onto the Kickstarter board games that are coming out, and all these other things just to share and get thoughts and opinions while we're. Because honestly, I was talking with this other gentleman, Marco, who made this game Escape from Stalingrad Z, right? Another zombie miniatures game, because I like that kind of stuff. And we were talking, and he goes. And I asked him about balancing and design and stuff, because again, I find that interesting. And he goes, well, at this point, you just get to know it. You know, you just know your game and how you're going to do it. And I'm like, thank God you said that, because that's how I feel with the Slaughterville thing. I just know how to do this now. I wouldn't classify myself as 100% expert, but I know what the hell I'm doing. You know, I could take any IP and make a board game out of it. And that's how it feels with this one, is the movement and everything for the hunting part. I already know how it's going to go almost without testing it. It's just the hunting, animal movement, and all this stuff that I want to get down that feels fast but fun. And that's what the testing is for, is just fine tuning. It's already built here.
See, I don't think your problem, and I'm being very honest, your problem isn't in the game. It's in the marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole thing right now with the entire board game community, the entire comic community, and practically everything. I mean, I'm about to drop something. The influencer and the big brand influencer market is about to die. And it's about to rescind by 80 to 90%. So people like Mr. Beast, Mr. Feast, all of these top influencers are about to die, and their income is about to get cut in half, if not by 80 to 90%. Very easily. It's coming. It's going to be complicated in the next 2 to 3 years, if not sooner, because there's brand trust issues. And so what's going to happen next is that understanding how to market your game or market your comic is the way things are going to go. And this is why what I think is going to happen ultimately on anything that's really indie or small is the most important part of everybody's team is going to be their marketing team. And you're going to have a bunch of people pop up, and it's already started. I know at least 10 people who offer marketing services.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you that 8 out of those 10 people are not useful. They're not going to help you. They're not doing anything special. The other 2 are a little bit better, but understanding that you're going to have to hire somebody to market your stuff is just the way it's going to go. You're either going to have to give them equity or put them on salary or put them onto a 3-month contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how this game gets big. And it's also finding the niches and finding the right people who are extremely influential and finding the right hunting guru, for lack of a better word, or even somebody who has a hunting channel that's small on YouTube and having some type of deal, whether it's an affiliate, it's an equity deal, it's a percentage stake of profit, whatever it is, and then that person brings in real value. That's how this thing gets big.
I was thinking the same kind of thing. Like they have some people out there that are, mid-level channels, and I thought about talking to them about sponsor a card or sponsor the box, just have your name on it and then promote it, kind of a thing. I'm not asking for money, just
the card idea could be very interesting. And I mean, I could tell you that there are people like the Plain Bagel. He has 500,000. He might have a little more subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
He gets offered $30,000 in advertisement, and he's a financial channel, and he's actually turned it down. And I vet sponsors. I vet people who come on my show. Obviously, if you throw me enough money, the vetting process gets changed, for lack of a better word. But the idea is that I'm not taking on anybody's product. If I think your product sucks, I'm not backing it and I'm not going to talk about it. There was a sort of Loot Crate item type box, and it wasn't Loot Crate. Loot Crate's great. And if they want to sponsor me, I'm more than happy because I love Loot Crate. Loot Crate's been good to me, and I've gotten a bunch of cool stuff out of Loot Crate. But the idea is that the statue they sent me was not what they advertised. And so I did not actually talk about their product. Mm-hmm. I had no desire to talk about their product because they sent an inferior product to me. And how can I, as somebody who actually wants to put forth ideas? And so that's the thing too, that obviously your game's quality, but if you do a card, you want to almost have a subscriber match. You want to have a variety of other things in place. And the idea is that maybe you want that person, and it's all about saying, hey, the next 100 people who subscribe to my channel and back the Kickstarter, and I'm going to check if this person got more subs, or even, I'm not a hunter, so it doesn't work for me, but somebody's just starting out their hunting channel, it might make a lot of sense because you're getting it on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure they talk about it. If they're doing 10 videos every single week, you want to start early,
mm-hmm.
and you want them to go for a while because that content lives forever. And that's the thing that you really want. You want those backlinks, and you want it so that it becomes passive, so that when you set up your Kickstarter, when it's done, goes to a pre-order form. That's what you really want.
And I know there are a few shops, and I'm sure, Ben, you know more than I do, that I was thinking about making a banner, and saying, hey, would you guys want to put this with that image we just showed in there saying coming soon, to get it, contact here, that kind of an idea, just to get into the local hunting spots, into the local ammo stores or the gun shops. Now, I also thought, because it's only like $100, to be honest with you, to sponsor something like a 3D hunt, where people go through and they shoot a bow or things at 3D targets. Now, can you imagine that $100 gets that banner there, and then all of these hunters come in and
I got a better idea for you.
Shoot, I'm all for it.
Don't do a banner, do a poster.
Do
a poster, and actually do a cool poster.
Okay.
Do a poster and here's why I say this, because do the poster and then figure out how to do almost a limited print run of that poster in the thing and run it maybe as for the first 100 backers or something like that, or even put it up for print, or like maybe like a mini art print, right?
Yeah.
And so now what you're doing is that you're monetizing it. So you're getting that additional revenue, or you're giving something as an incentive, so that, and then what you say, if it's really cool, what you could say to that shop owners, you could keep it. If you like it, you can keep it. You could frame it, you could do whatever you want. And obviously all of a sudden it's really cool. And you don't have to just put it into a hunting store, reach out to comic shops, obviously put it anywhere, local supermarkets,
Yeah.
It's a hunting town. You just want it to be seen.
Yeah.
You don't really, the whole point of the poster stuff is that you want to take the Coca-Cola approach. Coca-Cola spends a lot of money on all these stadiums, not because they necessarily care about rate of return. They want their name to be seen everywhere, and that's the thing that people need to understand. And maybe I obviously have sponsors come and go, and I have my sponsorships are still active despite companies not being working with me, because they stay with the episodes, and episodes naturally will gain views over and over and over again. And when it comes into podcast format, and so if you're Mixum, which was a former sponsor, on those 96 episodes they sponsored with me, it's still active. So they still have an active sponsorship. They don't have a continuously active sponsorship, but those sponsors didn't get taken off.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what you really want if you're going to work with an influencer or a YouTube channel, is you want it to lead right into a pre-order form.
Yeah.
That's where the real money is. It's all those backlinks.
I was thinking about that same kind of thing, like putting it out with the banner, the poster thing, and then having a little postcard sized thing that they could take along with them. Maybe even something that said, use this for free shipping in the US. Because shipping is going to be like $5-6. What do I care? But if that brings in 50, 100 people, then that would be worth it in the long run. So
I mean, let me tell you what I'm doing. So obviously I'm launching a class. Date is October 5th for a reason. That's New York Comic Con, I believe. When New York Comic Con launches. If I get a panel at New York Comic Con, I'm printing 500 metal cards. And if you have a metal card, you get 90% off the class. I'm handing those out at the convention. So now I'm going to be charging $100, but you get 90% off. So you have my metal card. It's a collectible. It's going to have my cute little logo on it. It might have her sister on it. I mean, I got a name for her, but it's not known yet. I'm going to be forming a holding company with her name too, which is going to be fantastic. But the idea is that everybody in that panel is going to get one of these cards. So now there's only 500 of them. And that's the only time I'm going to grant 90% off. And obviously I'm going to have 100% cards also. I'm going to have 50 of those where the class is completely free. But those are going to be randomly inserted into the deck. And it's only going to be maybe like 30 of those. And those are going to be super rare. And they're going to actually be a different thing on that one. But it's also going to have all my socials. So, and the reason why I bring this up is that what if you did something like that? I mean, you had all these metal cards printed up, so now it's cool. There's all the socials, and then it says, hey, free shipping, use this code. Or, take a picture of it and I'll waive the shipping. Something like that. And now all of a sudden you're doing something, or you get a mini art print, or you get a bonus item, something like that. Because what that does is that if somebody, and the shop owner's gonna be like, anytime I can throw something free into somebody's bag, because that's the whole thing. You want to send a bunch of shops saying, hey, I'll send you 100 of these, just throw them into the bag. Because it makes the shop look good. It has all your socials on it. And now you gave somebody something that's not a business card, where it's not a piece of plastic. It's a metal card. This is a friend of mine, but you could see that you can't bend that. I mean, I'm not throwing this away. And if it has a bunch of social stuff on it, you can't throw it away. So I moved away from actually handing out business cards at cons to handing out buttons like this, making sure it's so this is my button. And so that's another thing. And when I go to a con, I have 400 buttons in here, give or take.
Okay.
I just pass it around. I'm like, hey guys, take 1 or 2 or 5, as many as you want. And the reason why is that people don't throw out buttons. And like, free swag, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, you guys are here, and then people are like, oh, that's cool. And people tend to actually be like, yeah, I'll stay. So that's another thing too, is that helps a lot.
Okay. And Big Sexy, what would you think? And again, this is up to you. Okay. If I do these cards, again, I like the idea of the metal card because, like you said, people aren't going to ditch that. And it said, like on the poster, take a picture with the card, post it to the Big Sexy Facebook page, and have a chance to win a hat or a shirt. We good with that?
Dude, we'll make anything work.
Word to your homies, we'll get that done.
I'm going to throw you one more.
I got a $50 heated chair here. We can throw up there. I have that already printed, ready to go.
Nice.
So a friend of mine, George Medina, just did every 25 backers, you get randomly a golden ticket is inserted into it. And then if you go to the con with the golden ticket, he's going to give you a free graphic novel of his book. So what I would do is I would post it on the Facebook page, tag us on Instagram, hit us up on Twitter, and every time you do that, you get an additional entry into the raffle.
Okay.
That's smart.
That's what you really want to do. Follow us, tag a few friends. All of a sudden, somebody has 10 entries into the raffle. And then what I would do as well is that, let's say that you get the first, every 100 entries, you add a new drawing. The reason why is because now if you have 1,000 entries, you want to give multiple opportunities to win. And so that's the thing, because you're driving traffic, and this is just a traffic driver for you. And obviously giving a hat or giving a game, or even giving someone saying, hey, come on the show. If you guys promote, that's something that is very, very important to do. And that's the idea. And so doing stuff like that is ultra helpful, because what you want is that you want to grow those social media channels.
Definitely good ideas. Yeah, I know. That's what I keep saying every time I have him here.
I like that he's honest, and I like that he has his own different outlooks and different experiences. Yeah. So just because, like I said to you when we were talking about them cards, my opinion means nothing when there's 100 opinions. So, I like that it's always good to hear all the way around the board. Now, here's some guy that doesn't hunt but says, man, the box cover's awesome. But if you guys can do this, you can really make it better. That's what you're after. That's the goal.
Yeah. I did save the link you sent me about fairy cards, about them.
Oh, yeah, they're great. They're great. They did my metal cards. They did this right here. I don't know if you've seen this, I'm a nice little sexy psycho killer.
And when I place the order, it's going to be, again, that image, and they do color and all. When I place that order, I am going to make sure that I mention where I heard about them from. So hopefully they give you something.
I don't have any affiliation with them. They're just good people, and I don't want to do any business with them. Jacob Stern does Yule, and he threw me a solid because I ordered 120, and then I ordered a different SKU on these. So I did 130 on my DJ Croft, and you met DJ, right?
Yeah.
And I love DJ. I just don't play for his team, but that's all right. He's okay with that joke. He's okay with that joke. But he gave me these other 50 at the same price as the 130. So when you order 100 or more, it goes down as you order more metal cards. Okay. So obviously, if you order 250, it's going to be cheaper. And I think what they do is that they mix and match At least he did it for me. I didn't ask him to. I was happy to pay him whatever it was. But that's another thing to keep in mind as well, where you can do, if you could ask him if he mixes and matches. But yeah, I mean, I could show you some other stuff that they've done on metal card wise. That's not my stuff, just so you get an idea, because my stuff is a little weird. Zenoscope, Lunchbox, Jay Anicoletto. You should look him up. He's a great artist. He's available for covers, guys.
Nice.
As soon as I find this, just so I can show you what they do. Yeah. So I found it. So this is another thing they do. This is another fairy metal product. So just if you're concerned that my colors aren't, a good example of what they can do. This is obviously Ruby Rose from Ruby. And this is what they've done. So, I mean, this is the back of like the sticker on the back.
Okay.
But that should give you an idea of what colors they can do and everything in that realm. So I don't know if you were concerned.
No. But they seem to be
cool.
sturdy too. Yeah.
This is Tom Hutchinson uses them, and he did stuff like this with them. So Tom uses them. So that's another one. This one is not from fairy metal, because this is more edged. So I don't know. This is more square.
Yeah.
And I actually don't like it because it's actually sharp. Well, these are rounded.
That I like the rounded better. Yeah.
I do as well. But I figured I would show that because I think it is crucial to understand people's product, and they're pretty reasonable. I mean, 180 metal cards was, I think, 85 cents a metal card for me. So yeah, it's not horrible for 185 per metal card.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think if you just ask Jacob Stern, on Twitter, shoot him a message, he'll give you his rates, and their turnaround time is pretty quick. I mean, I shot him a message, he didn't get back to me, and I was a little concerned, and they got back to me pretty quickly. And I think I got my metal cards in like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, you can't argue with that.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that together. I'll put a blurb for the back, with all the socials and everything else. I'll do all the layout. It's just a 3.5 by 2.5 standard poker card size.
Yeah. And they want you to send like the exact ratio and all that stuff. So
okay.
And he actually checks. So if you mess up, he'll shoot you a message. I'm like, oh snap, man! Thanks for the catch.
Nice.
I didn't even know. He's like, yo, man, could you just do this quickly? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the catch. I actually have to get him on because he does a comment, and so I actually ordered that Ruby Rose to see what their product looked like, to make sure it was up to standard.
Yeah.
And it's very good. And I had Tom on, and I said, hey Tom, where do you order from? He's like, oh yeah, I ordered from Fairy Metal. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was looking at them, and don't piss them off is all I'm gonna say. They're like the only ones that like do this, and other people do stuff too, but I like them the best, and I'm actually gonna be ordering my own personal like metal cards from them, and they have some really cool stuff on their site.
Okay. Yeah, I have them bookmarked from the last time we talked about them, so I'll definitely be. I think ordering them, setting them out in a few of the local stores, the local gun shops, and so on, would be a good idea. Hey, turn this in or take your picture with it for a chance to win. I think that'd be good.
Or even just the idea is that just giving something away for free, right? Because it's eyes on product. My whole objective with the class I'm launching October 5th, which is the first time I'm talking about it, is I might approach a comic shop. I'm like, hey, look, I'm launching this comic class. I got 50 of these metal cards. Just throw them into orders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a win for you, it's a win for me, it's a win for everybody.
Yep.
In the room, and everybody's happy because everybody's getting something cool. And obviously, if I get my panel at New York Comic Con, I just submitted. That's what I'm launching on October 5th. If I get it, I'm launching at the con, and I'm going to hand it out because I want to reward people for actually helping their financials. And I want to give some people something cool to look at and have and almost be a collectible. And then I'm never doing 90% off ever again after those 500 are gone. After those 500 are gone, you either have the code or you don't. Now, I might do a 50% off sale, but I will never do 90%.
Yeah.
And I would also keep that because you're creating a collectible and you're also creating and taking like an NFT position. But I've given enough information away for free on this topic for the night.
Yeah, it is. Holy crap. It's been 2 hours already. But I did want to ask you something. You talk about Zenoscope a lot, and I used to read them way back in the day with Grimm Fairy Tales and all the other stuff, right? What would be, if you were to recommend a good story from them, because that's what I like, is, to read the stories and all, what would you recommend? Wait, let me get it so I can see it. I can only see little. Robin Hood.
So it's Robin Hood Wanted. As a mysterious villain calls himself the sheriff, terrorizes the city of Nottingham. The people that Robin once liberated again need her help. But back on Earth, with the police searching for her, Robin contends with the problems of her own. Can Robin harness the strength inside of her to rise up and be the hero that Nottingham needs? Or will her demons get the best of her as she faces the consequence of her past actions?
That is a nice cover, too. I like that cover.
So Art Gem did this cover.
Okay.
So Pat Chan wrote it, and I watched a bunch of the art. Honestly, what I recommend everybody start with is Wonderland, the original Wonderland.
Yep, I read that. Yep.
I have an omnibus of it, worth of $50. Joe Brush just signed it. With every penny. It's a very cool book. The best way for everybody who wants to read Zenoscope is buy a Comixology subscription, and about 80% of Zenoscope's library is on Comixology.
Oh, really?
And so you can start anywhere. You could start in Grimm Fairy Tales 1. You could start in Grimm Fairy Tales Volume 2. I like to stick with Robin Hood. Van Helsing is always good. The traditional Grimm Fairy Tales or Wonderland. Don't start usually with Neverland. Oz, I enjoy Oz tremendously, but I would not start with Oz either. Because it's just the classic stuff is Wonderland. It's Grimm Fairy Tales Volume 1. Obviously Robin Hood, Van Helsing, stuff like that. It is huge. I'm a huge Van Helsing. This is a piece that I have. This is actually a commission. So it's a commission piece by Elias Chazudis. He did another cover that's similar to this called Firefighter Sexy Samantha. And Firefighter Sexy Samantha is a police officer. She's wearing a pink thong and a firefighter's outfit with her suspenders covering her nice, well-endowed body. And she's in front of the Flatiron building in a firehouse, uniform and all, hat and all. And I said to him, hey, do Firefighter Sexy Samantha just in Van Helsing. And it's like $275 for this, but it's all marker. Did it in a day. And eventually I'm going to get another 4 of them done. Very cool book. Did very well on Instagram. Almost 10,000 likes on Instagram in a very short amount of time. And the people at Zenoscope, when I was shopping in their store, had awesome comment. Yo, man, did you see this cover? I'm like, yes, I know it's mine. And that was my first public interaction with Zenoscope. I'm like,
nice.
Yes. No, I just handed that book over 2 hours ago to CGC. And even CGC was like, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. And the people at CGC, the women at CGC were like, bro, this is awesome. And they're like, yo, can we take a picture? I'm like, yeah, go for it. Very, very happy. And the story about that book is Mom was very skeptical of how that process was going out. And I said to Charlie, I said, dude, do your thing. I'm not concerned because he's a good artist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing, is that you have to understand, you have to let artists do their job.
Yeah. In your class that you're planning, do you have something in there on how to get things graded?
Yeah. So I'll go through the curriculum. I guess module 1 is research. Module 2 is budgeting. Module 3 is grading, and module 4 is exits. I will say this very, very openly. With research, I mean, you go through where to find information, and you go through a lot of stuff. You go through a whole bunch of information. Budgeting is a little bit shorter of a module because I go through the entire budgeting process and other things in that nature, and what type of budgets, how to build a budget, all that fun stuff. And then grading is how grading actually works.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to know, how to actually be good at it, understanding somewhat what needs to be graded, what doesn't need to be graded, and all that things, and also the different types of grading. And then exits is, what is your exit strategy, and how does all this stuff work? But again, with grading, I'm not going to go through how do you figure out what's a 9.6 versus 9.8. I'm giving more of an overview. This is level 1 stuff.
Yep.
But when I teach this, versus level 2, which is more specific. Level 3 is that your dad's a comic collector and you have no desire for comics, but you know they're worth money. So how do you get the most out of it without, getting 30 cents on the dollar?
Mm-hmm.
That's level 3, and that's a very niche solution. But I'm planning to build a whole business out of this. And this is where I'm going with all this stuff. But again, comic book investing is a whole different thing. I'm more than happy to answer any questions on that topic for the next hour.
Good.
Not to hijack your stream, but I'm more than happy.
No. This isn't the hijacking. We've had that before. Right. But no, yeah, that's
a story, but I can't tell it about on air.
That's okay. We'll get to it. That was one of the main things I'd like to know, is because again, that's why I like that you're going to be putting these classes out, is because I don't know how to go get something graded. You look like you're beat there, Big Sexy.
I'm always beat, brother. I get up at 4 o'clock for work every morning.
Well, I do want to show at least 2 things that I technically 3 more things before we get to anything. This is one of my favorite comics of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I love this comic because I don't know if anybody knows who signed this book.
No, it looks like a blank cover. I don't see anything on it. Oh, I think he froze.
John
Cena. You got it. Yeah, well, that was the joke. Yeah, you can't see me, John Cena. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay, it took me a minute. Did you know who actually signed this book?
No, I can't really see the signature.
So maybe you could see it now.
No, still can't.
So John Cena signed this book.
Nice.
So I actually bought this book, and then 30 minutes later I bought a second one of the exact same book. And then fast forward, my mom was yelling at me when I did it. And then what happened is that about 8 months later, I sold the second book for about $250. I bought the first book for about $113. I bought the second book for $120. And in between the 2 books, I took a shower. Now, this book is a 9.6, but it's not signed by Cena. It's actually signed by Rob Gilroy, who did the art, and it's signed by Nikita Mann, who did the cover for this. So it's actually signed by 2 different people. And I bought this book a hell of a lot cheaper. I bought this book for $15.
Oh, wow.
Cool book. And that book is undervalued. If this was a 9.8, this book would be $120 is what it goes for. A 9.8, 9.6, it's a little bit cheaper, but it's probably a $60, $70 book. But again, both those books are personal books. This is a personal book. because I sold the second one again for $250. That paid for both of them, which is how that's a whole different level of comic book investing. And under the new IRS rules, technically, if I bought 2 of these books, sold one of them, that paid for both of them, it would not have to be reported on my 1099K under the Biden IRS plan, which is a different entire thing. But again, that's a personal book. Both those books are personal books because I'm a huge John Cena fan, and people really like that book, and people want him because of Peacemaker. They want Suicide Squad, and he's just one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And the guy is fantastic. And if I ever get an interview with him, we're not talking anything wrestling. We're talking anime and cars with him. And Fist of the Northern Star and fast sports cars because he has a big sports car collection.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And the other book I want to show is this book.
There we go.
So this book is a great story. So it's Will Friedle, who plays Terry McGinnis, and he's Eric Matthew on Boy Meets World, and Dan Jurgens signed and sketched it. He did the Batman sketch on it. The way this thing works is that Dan charges about, when anything gets great, he charges $10 to $15. That goes to his charity.
Okay.
That he throws out there. So the story, you can take me off screen. It's
awesome. I just like the book. I was checking it out.
No. I still want to be rude to everybody else. So the story behind this book is that I was at the Library of Congress the night before of AwesomeCon, and Paul Levitz and Dan Jurgens were actually speaking about 80 years of Superman. And then they were doing a signing. Paul Levitz was a professor of mine at Manhattanville, where I went undergrad. And I basically said, I'm the guy who was stupid enough to say, "Hey, professor, how are you?" during the Q&A. And he's like, "Who's that?" It's Andrew Davis from Manhattanville. And he thought it was funny. And the entire crowd thought it was funny, too. It's up on the Library of Congress's entire archives, which is even funnier to me. But then they were doing a signing, and I was speaking to Paul, and I was speaking to Dan. And I said to Dan, "Hey, could you throw a little stinger on?" I don't know how many people are familiar with tattoo culture, but a stinger is a 15 to 20-minute tattoo. And I was hoping for a little bat symbol, right? Nothing major. And I was like, hey, if there's not much of a line, because it actually changes the whole thing, because this book is actually signed and sketched by Dan Jurgens. If it's a little stinger, it actually is a sketch. It's the same in CGC's definition as this. And this are the exact same as a sketch, which is kind of crazy, in my opinion. And so now, he's like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. He says to me the night before. Then I show up, CGC, basically is 45 minutes late because he's signing for an hour. They come, and I'm like, awesome, this is fantastic. They come, and CGC's like, Dan doesn't usually sketch. And I'm like, if he sketches on my book, will you document? He's like, okay, I got it covered. Now he starts, his handler, I pay my $10 to him, say, hey, it's getting graded. Pay my $10, don't do anything. Happy that Dan's signing. If he doesn't want to sketch, no worries. He's refusing sketches for other people. He starts sketching. His handler doesn't stop him, which is a good sign of a handler. Now, what gets fascinating is that, so he signs it nice, he sketches, and then his handler says, oh, are you getting, Will Friedle's signature because he plays Terry McGinnis? It's a Batman Beyond book. And I'm like, no, man, I'm not pushing my luck. I'm on crutches. I don't walk good in general. I understand when I win, I don't get greedy. I'm happy. And he's like, wait right here. But then his handler goes behind where all the people are, speaks to Will Friedle's handler, and then Will Friedle comes out, stops his line, comes out to me, and then says, I am Batman, ... Will Friedle. Signs it. He knows it's getting graded. CGC sees it. The book's all that. Me and Will Friedle are speaking for a few minutes. I don't have to pay for Will Friedle's signature. And I'm like, oh, snap. And this handler understood how to make somebody's Comic-Con work.
Mm-hmm.
and took care of somebody when he didn't have to.
Yeah.
And that's why this book is a very personal book. This book is not for sale. I don't care if you offer me $1,000 for it or $2,000. It is, everybody has a Comic-Con story. This is mine.
Yeah.
And it's a show that I would love to launch because I think it is such a cool story of what makes you a comic book fan. And this is the book. And as a comic book investor, this book is not investable. It's just off the table. It's like my Cena book. It's like my Chaucer's book. You know, and that's what this hobby does. Where there's books that are sellable, that book is probably one of my favorite books. And if I have kids, hopefully they'll be smart enough, whether they're comic fans or not, to understand that this is their dad's favorite book. because it's the story behind the book. It's not the book itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the money that's pumped into the book. But this is the cool stuff when you become interested in buying and selling comics. These stories occur, and then you create a personal collection and an investable collection. But there's real money in this stuff. I mean, and so, but I digress. But again, any questions you have about this stuff, I am more than happy to answer for the next hour or 2 or 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I can stay on that long, but no, like you were saying, everybody does have their own story. Like I got to meet the guy that played Diggle on Arrow. You know, I got to talk to him for a while after hours because I knew the convention people. And then when he was able to sign something, it was, you know, sure, it was a signature, but it was, you know, just it was the whole experience behind it as well that really made it kind of cool.
I just want to point out that's why I hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the antlers and all that. It has nothing to do with all that. It's the stories that go with all of it.
Yep, that's why I make games.
I don't collect comic books, and I don't, but it's kind of the same thing at the end. Is I go for the stories. Man, I hooked this one, or my daughter shot this, or you should have seen Chris. He missed this. Sorry, Chris, how do you use missed because of that one? But
yeah.
but,
Let me ask you
it's the same thing.
Big sexy, and sorry for interrupting. I don't know who's a big hunter or who's like a hunter personality, right? But let's say that you're at a hunting camp. I'm sure they have them, right? They have hunters conventions.
Oh yeah, they have them.
I'm very ignorant, so forgive me for my ignorance.
No.
It's not my thing, and I don't know if it'll ever be my thing. I'm more of a fisher. I'm not really much of a killer. I hate to say it. Like it kind of freaks me out shooting a gun a little bit or an arrow or something like that. Like I look at a deer and I'm like, oh man, this thing looks so cute and it's majestic, you know. But I that's just me. But I don't judge anybody for killing in their hobbies. But it's the idea that if all of a sudden you're at a bar and that hunter is sitting at the bar too, and you strike up a conversation, it's I would imagine it's very similar. Or they invented a product that makes your hunting experience even better, and then they sign that product, right? Like, because that's what it's like for me when I'm speaking to that artist, and then that's the story behind it, and it goes even further. And even with like Chaz's, which is this book, it's the fact that this is my first big thing, and I gave him the idea. I mean, I said, hey, look, this is my first cover I've ever booked, technically. And I gave him the idea. I didn't say, hey, do the top hat, do a hair like this. I said, hey, here's the basic concept to your thing. And the fact that my mom was like freaked out about it and she didn't get it, like, it only enhances the story. And that's what it is. And I love the cover. And every time I show that cover to people, they're like, dude, that's an awesome cover. And then like I go into it and they're like, dude, you're doing 4 more in that type of style. Oh my God. And I actually want to sell Zenoscope the idea. And I have to, because I think this would be a fantastic cover. Like, if Chazus gets to make money and then I have the original, it's only going to make that book more valuable to me. Mm-hmm. But again, it's not the value of the book, it's the story.
Yep.
And so like that's what it is for me. And I would imagine if you meet like a hunting personality and then you're at a bar with him and then you have like a 2-hour long conversation, I mean, that's the only thing I could think of with the equivalent.
Oh no, I agree with you. I've actually ran into Dan Fitzgerald, which I'm sure you don't know who that is, but he's a very big Christian hunter. Met him and his son one time at a convention, and it was awesome. I mean, so I kind of, even though I'm not in the same boat you guys are with the comic books and the thing, our hobbies are very similar in the sense of at the end of the day, it's more about the stories. It's more about the reason we enjoy it isn't just because of what it is. It's bigger than that.
Yeah, no, it's also the idea like I have friendships with people in comics now, where I never thought I would have Pat Chan on my show, and I'll say this very open. Pat Chan's a big Pokemon card collector. I'm a card collector. Obviously, as I stated, I was going through Pokemon cards with all these high school kids, and like we were all having a conversation. My mom was in it. It was weird as hell, guys. I think I could say hell on this show, right?
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
I'm drinking, but I'm tame tonight. And I know I can't go full on, because I don't know who's watching.
I think they should be asleep by now.
I'm being respectful. I'm well aware of my environment, but the idea, hopefully nothing will slip, and if it does, I'm gonna just apologize in advance. But yeah, it's a lot of it is just like you get to meet really cool people, and I never thought that I would meet Pat Chan, and then me and him are going to do card unboxings because Cinescope has trading cards that are coming out, and I'm inviting all these other people to unbox with us, all these different cards, and we're going to have a card collecting comic book hangout. And anybody, the entry fee is 5 packs minimum. And the only reason why you need 5 packs is that so you actually have something that you could pull out. And statistically, if you have 5 packs of anything, you will pull something out of those 5 packs that is actually cool to talk about. You don't have to give me the cards. You don't have to give anybody your cards. It's just a matter that you actually need something to participate with, if that makes any sense. But beyond that, there's no entry fee. Beyond that, it's not money. You just need to be able to participate. But I never thought I'd be able to do that, and it's so weird. But it's again, it goes back to story, and it's such a cool thing. I feel at this point.
Yeah, again, that's pretty much why I do, the games, and why I do what we do is for the stories behind it. You get to have those experiences with everybody, and yeah, again, that's just what I really like. Like when we went down to that Moors hunt, I shot a ram, and I have that mounted up here over the TV in the living room.
I'm about to ask a stupid question.
Sure.
This is a really bad Jewish question. I'm Jewish. I don't even know what a ram is.
Like a goat has the big horns coming out. I think the horns are about this. Yeah.
It's basically a goat. It's basically a goat. They just have really big horns.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what a sheep is this, a lamb is this, a goat's that. Like, it's so confusing.
Yeah. Let's see. But, again, it was also that I got to meet those people down there, and not just the other hunters or anything, but I mean, like the new people, There.
Are you pulling up what a ram is?
That's a ram, yep.
No, I get confused, okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm the first person to admit that I get confused. I'm a Capricorn because I was born in January, and I don't know exactly. I know what a ram looks like if I saw a ram, but like again, I don't even know what a ram is like related to. I'm like because I don't think about this type of stuff ever, and I'm like, oh, cool, we shot a ram. That sounds cool. Like, what's a ram? Like,
yeah.
I know what a rhino is. I know what an elephant is. Like, I'm not that bad, guys.
I'll be honest. You know how you said you couldn't shoot the deer? I don't think because I know you're allowed to legally shoot an elephant because they pick the old ones that are detrimental to the herd that are causing damage. I don't know that I could do it. Not that I couldn't hold the gun and pull a trigger.
It's interesting. Because
I only kill what I eat. I got to point that out. I only kill what I eat. If I can't eat it, I don't want it.
Exactly.
This is where this gets complicated. I mean, I don't know how many people know the story with the giraffe that got a lot of negative attention. The real story is that giraffe was an old giraffe, and it was actually killing the males in the herd, and it was detrimental to it because at that point the giraffe was not, I guess, reproducing or impregnating the female giraffe. Right? It's days of having fun are long gone, for lack of a better word. I'm being very polite in the way I say it. But it feels. I guess it still felt that it was being an alpha, and it needed to be killed. And then the woman who killed it, obviously, I think, paid and needed to go because it was creating a problem. Now, there are these elephants like Tim and these other elephants in Africa, which are tuskers, and that elephant died of natural causes. So a lot of times these older elephants aren't hurting the herd. It's very rare that an elephant hurts the herd in Africa, but there have been times where a giraffe has done it. Even with lions, most times lions don't hurt the herd. And when it happens and it creates a problem, I mean, I don't know if I would be, I mean, even with that giraffe that maybe was 3 to 6 years ago, I don't know exactly when it happened. I don't even know if I could kill that giraffe. Like, that's not a job I want to do, but I understand the game hunting aspects of it because it's a big issue. My dad's going to Africa. He likes to shoot photography. In Kenya, where he's going, I mean, they don't mess around. I mean, if you're caught poaching, it's a bullet to the head. Yeah. And my dad feels very safe in Kenya, where in these camps, I mean, they have armed guards with like machine guns. There's no screwing around here. And I'm using polite words. There's an F word I would like to use, but I'm being here for a reason. There's no blanking around where if you're caught poaching, it's a bullet to the head.
Yeah.
Because they understand that the money that you get for shooting a lion is not worth the photography money. The photography money is in a week worth what you could kill that lion for in a day. It makes sense because they make more money. But again, that's a big tangent. But like, I don't think I could kill a deer. I'm like, sorry. Like, I feel like it's just not in me. It's just not in me.
That's fine. Yeah,
maybe you ought to take me hunting and teach me how to do it.
Sounds like a plan.
We can do that for sure.
That'd be a good big sexy video.
We take you fishing. You like fishing? We can take you fishing.
I do like fishing. Fishing, you grab a couple beers, you put it on the dock. You're at 6 a.m. You know, you didn't realize you got to stay there until 12. But you have like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And then you go out for pizza afterwards.
It's a win-win. But yeah, you were just down near the bay. I wonder if they have a good a charter for a good deep sea fishing out there.
I was doing a different type of fishing down in Virginia. Laying by a pool, definitely eyeing some cute girls. It was a nice time in my Corona. It was great.
Listen, they call me Big Sexy. I know all about that kind of fishing.
I'm too old.
She was a birthday girl, and man, I was eyeing her.
Listen, I'm gonna cut you guys. I'm gonna cut you guys short. I got my kids are actually still awake, which I can't believe. I just looked over there and seen them. So I'm gonna cut you guys short and go lay with my kids here. Just let them know I'm here before they go to bed. And
we'll pull some Faith Hill stuff, right?
Yeah.
See, I can pull out stuff that people don't think I could pull out as a 29-year-old.
But it was, Andrew, I'm glad you got on. I appreciate the comments and
I completely lied just to make you guys feel special.
Advice, yeah. I appreciate the heck out of it, man. So thank you very much, Chris. As always, love you, brother.
All right, man. We'll catch you tomorrow. I wish I could go with, but I got the kids in the morning, so.
Yeah, we'll see. Depends on what mood I'm in now.
I might be I only had one glass. I do need a refill, but I might be able to go in the afternoon. We'll see when she gets home.
Well, get a hold of me. I got a bass fishing spot I want to head up.
All right, word to your homies.
All right, later.
See you, bud. So yeah, that's a lot for today. Wow, good. So how do I want to ask you this? You're going to go over the CGC stuff in the class, so that's good. There.
I mean, I'll throw this out to you. Anytime you want me to do the intro to this entire thing, because I've done this panel before, and it's a 45-minute panel, gives a very brief overview of everything. And again, I've been speaking about this for about 3 years in various topics. And I'm more than happy to speak because I'm going to throw something out there. I don't think you're going to mind me embarrassing. I know you want to monetize. See, I can't teach everybody everything in 45 minutes to an hour, even 2 hours.
Right.
So if I'm to have a one-on-one with you or 30 minutes with you at any given point, I mean, I'm going to give a brief description and get people's brains churning. And I'll say this openly about my class. You can get all this information on your own. You don't need my class to do it. My class legitimately gives it to you all straight up. And the reason why you're paying for my class is its convenience. It's also parsed out.
Mm-hmm.
It's also modularly built. And the idea is that there's a bunch of information, and a lot of my information is out there, but it's not all put into a logical component. You know, technically speaking, everything that is taught is free. You can get most of what is taught in college and a variety of other things in a public library for $1.50 in late fees. Technically speaking, you can do that. The reason why people go to college or go to public school is it's the discipline aspect, and it's also being forced and steered for you. And so you'll pay $100,000 to go to college because your education is then steered for you, and they're giving you guidance, and they're also giving you an environment to learn in. Because if you're left to your own devices, nothing against being left to your own devices. I believe that people should be free to do whatever they want to a degree, as long as it's not causing me harm. You know, but you're not going to get it all at once. But with my class, comic book investing, most of this stuff is out there. It's just that you're going to spend just as much time as learning it, if not more, than finding it. And that's the problem. And so I'm just giving you 20 to 25 hours, a bunch of information. And then once you buy the class, you have access to it, and you can refer back to it whenever you want. And so now all of a sudden, there you go. So, but again, I mean, I'm more than happy to give an overview of 45 minutes to an hour, and anybody can ask any question, and I got no problem if people want to submit questions.
Sure.
I will answer whatever people want. I mean, I'm more than happy to do it because that's kind of why I'm here, is that I like to talk about this. And again, whatever I'm going to give away, you know, it's just going to start turning people's brains. And start thinking. And I mean, I'm on with Pops tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking about pay to play. And for the first 30 minutes, I mean, I'm going to get a lot of hate for what I'm going to say, and I personally do not care. Because the difference is that I'm right. That's the whole problem, is that I'm right, and he knows. Pops knows exactly what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
And I'll throw this out there right now for everybody who's watching it and everybody wants to sound clip it or whatnot. I was one of the first people that paid for an hour. I gave him $7 because I do it too. It's hypocritical if I'm asking for money and somebody else is not asking for money, is asking for money, and I don't throw. I said, hey, let's do it. The first 30 minutes, you and me are going, and we're going to talk about this issue because I'm going to prove a point, and a bunch of people tomorrow night are going to not like me, and they're not going to like what I'm going to say. And I don't know. I mean, I'm at the point. I'm having a bad week as it is, and I don't care. I don't give an F, man. And that's where I'm at. And it's going to be a very interesting 30 minutes from 7 to 7:30, and then I'm actually giving somebody who supported my show, who supported an interview, and I'm actually bringing him on, which is another good reason why to support my show. Because once you actually give me money on my show, I bring you into other things without asking, because I don't believe in asking people for money more than once a year.
Hmm. Now I know I have on Sunday. I have a half an hour on that too. I have to check back in and remember. My brain's frying. But here's what I'm gonna do. You ready?
What are you doing?
I have 2 interviews, and I think it was a live read or something like that yet.
Yeah, something. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point, right? But I want to take one of those interviews, okay? And we're gonna flip it, because you're not gonna interview me. You're gonna tell me your 45-minute pitch. We good with that?
Oh man. So where are we gonna do that one?
That's what I mean. Huh?
Are we doing
Yeah.
it on my show or what?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll use one of my interviews for that, because I want to know about it, but I want to make sure that I give you something for it.
See. It's weird. I've done that before with Ben. Ben interviewed me, and a friend of mine convinced me to do it. And I was like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. And we went on for like 3 hours. I was like, oh shoot, we're going to Joe Rogan now.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny. And I said to my friend Ben, I said, hey, yeah, you on the because again, I mean, yeah, I don't mind being interviewed, and I'm more than happy to do that on my show. Yeah, I might just have to read my sponsorship for BCW Supplies, but beyond that, and
That's
if I have
fine.
another sponsor beyond that, but yeah, no, we could do that, and then obviously I'm gonna get you back on, and I'm probably gonna get you back on as well beyond that. I mean, I said you met Boomer, right, or Taylor Campbell.
That one sounds familiar. Yeah.
And again, if somebody pays, I don't believe in asking them again for money. I ask people again once a year for money, and that's the thing too. Is that I think it's very crucial to understand when to ask people for money and when not to.
Yep.
My goal is that I don't need to make $1 million with this show. I don't. What I want to do is I just want to get support, and I want to pay my bills as far as StreamYard, maybe get the podcast going, and hope for the best. And I was in a fortunate enough position on my entire thing, and this is beyond the point of comics, that once I get funded and once my bills are taken care of, my goal is to raise money and create a perpetuity fund for this, because what I'm going to be doing in the future is that I'm building out a holding company, and I actually have to make sure I can get the name for my holding company, which will be my mascot, and she's gonna get a little sister. It's gonna be great. I'm building out a family. And I'm gonna, if I have a daughter, her name is gonna be the holding company. It's gonna be fantastic, and I can create another one for my son. If I have a son or my second daughter. This way, my family is gonna become very, very wealthy. Be way beyond. I believe in generational wealth, but again, this is a different discussion. We'll go on for 2 hours if you want to do me, because again, I am more than happy to do that anytime you want to do it. But yeah, this is besides the point. I get on a tangent. Way cooler, Batman Beyond, guys. Way cooler.
Yeah. Here's something I wanted to ask you though. You talk a lot about Zenescope. And again, I've been reading them for a long time. What are some other ones that you'd recommend picking up? Like, I know companies I don't like, but
other companies.
Well, I mean, how do we want to say?
So things beyond Zenescope.
Yeah. Like, what other books would you say right now that like you need to get this one?
I enjoy Kanto. So Kanto is IDW.
Okay.
It's David Boer. I love David Boer. I have this weird thing where I think some gay comic writers are some of the best comic writers in the business right now. I really do. I mean, obviously DJ is a gay man, and every business relationship I've ever had with a gay man has always turned out well. And I don't know why, but it just always works out well, even if they don't agree with me politically. because it works out well because they're just so like good at business. It's fantastic.
Mhm.
And I don't know why. There's something about gay men that just makes me money. That's not the point here. I don't know if that's politically correct, but Dave Boer is the writer for Canto, and he's a great writer. And he's just a fantastic human being, and he is great to talk to. And he just gave me a shot to interview him, and then he gave me a shot to interview him again. And he's really great. Canto's a good book to read right now, and
Okay.
they're on their 4th or 5th series with it, so it's all adding up. It's Dante's Inferno meets I guess the Wizard of Oz is a good way to describe it. Brilliant book. Canto 1 is an expensive book. I have one that came back from CBCS as a 9.8, and it's like a $700 to $800 book. Yeah, getting a Canto 1 to read is expensive.
Yeah. Is that the one?
Not Canto 1. That is Canto 2. That might be the trade. Canto 1 is so scroll up and go over to no. It's up there. It's up there. It's that one. Yeah. You were just over it.
Okay.
No, go over it. I think that might be it. Or it's not important. It's not important.
Right. I was just checking out the art style.
But Drew Zucker did the art, and it's becoming a motion picture, and he's writing the screenplay for it. So brilliant. Yeah. Canto 1. That's the book. That's the book. No. If you could X out of that. Sorry, I get excited when I see it.
No, take your time.
So it's it's you're on the right row. Go over like 2. One more. That's that. Yeah, right there. That's issue 1. That's like a $700 to $800 book signed by both of them. Really expensive book. I think it came out in 2019. I mean, it was such a big book that it was limited to 1 per customer. I paid on Midtown the money, like the extra $10 to have it shipped to me. So I usually order a great book. Canto's a good book. I like what Titan is doing right now. Doctor Who, if you're a Doctor Who fan, Titan. Robotech, Titan. Assassin's Creed stuff with Titan. Cowboy Bebop is enjoyable. And then obviously DC does some cool stuff. Fables. Fables is back. So if you're a big Fables fan, which I am, thoroughly enjoyed Fables. I thought Fables was brilliant. I guess they gave Bill Willingham enough money to come back. He did issue 151. 152 is coming soon. That's out there. What else is there that's good?
And they had Batman Bigby, right?
They did do that. Yes, they did do that. I did not read that yet. But they've done Ruby. They've done Ruby with the Justice League. So if you're a Ruby fan, that was cool. The Ruby series was cool. So again, and then Marvel does stuff that's cool. Star Wars stuff is hit or miss.
Yeah.
Depending on what they're doing, but some of it's good. I mean, Charles Soule's a good writer. What else is there that's fascinating?
I do like your Darth Vader.
What'd you say?
I do like the Darth Vader from Marvel.
Yes. Like Vader Down was cool.
Yeah. I know he's not everybody's favorite book, but I enjoy it.
What else? What was there that was really good? And then there's just some cool stuff from Dynamite. I mean, there's trying to think of. I mean, there's some really cool stuff coming out with Dynamite. Obviously, Deja Thorne's always fun. Wow, I can't think of the book Sheena, I think it is. I'm enjoying Sheena. Red Sonja. I think it's like Red Sonja Samurai. That book. I don't think it came out yet. That book looks awesome. Because it's like a weird version of Red Sonja. But then Dynamite's done some fun stuff like Dynamite, which is just like a big fusion. And that thing was just fun and it was wild. But then you go into indie stuff too. And you go into stuff like Big Dog Inc., which if you're a fan of Zenescope, Big Dog Inc. is similar. And that's Tom Hutchinson. And Big Dog Inc.'s been around for about 12 years. And so there's stuff like Ursula Minor. I'm not familiar, but like Tom Hutchinson's done Critter, and again, like you go into some cool stuff like that. But yeah, it all depends. So if you're like a big IP guy and you like licensed properties, places like IDW are fun to play in. Places like Titan are fun to play in because Titan has Doctor Who. They got Cowboy Bebop. They got Robotech. IDW has Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They got Star Trek. They got Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a big one. I mean, if you're like me, I love Sonic the Hedgehog. And on Comixology, you can read all the Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, and it is a blast to read. I mean, you read it. It reads like the video game. And Ian Flynn's been writing that stuff forever. Yeah. Ian Flynn's been on my show twice now. Got to interview him on Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary, and it is fantastic. And got to interview with Killian McMurphy, of all people, who was a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Killian owes me big time for that one. I'm just putting it out there. But I would not. The nice thing is that Killian understood that I was doing him a solid, and I will be taken care of in the long run. It also looks good on my part because Killian did not make me look like a dick. But again, I mean, I don't know if I'm to recommend comics to people. I ask the question, what are you into? Yeah. Because if you're into Batman, you're going DC. If you're like Captain America, you're going Marvel. But you say, hey, look, I love licensed properties. And I like the old days and I like the new days. There's places like Titan, IDW. And then you could also say, hey, look, screw it. And I'm going to go into the dollar bin in your comic shop and pull stuff back from the 90s and have a blast with it.
Yeah.
But, again, it all depends. Like, I read a lot of stuff on Comixology. So I actually do not buy a lot of physical stuff anymore. I spend on an investment on my business. Comic stuff is different than my personal collection. I spend about $30 to $40 on my personal collection every month now. I probably spend more like $100 on my business side of things.
Yeah.
But that is self-sustaining, which is a different position. And I mean, that's like level 4 or 5, which is leveraging your entire collection and dividends and using your stocks and your dividends to buy more comics, to buy more assets. That's a whole different ballgame. Yeah. And that is my friend Brandon Duff, who's really big into NFTs, talks a lot about that. And me and him spoke about that about 3 years ago, before Brandon became big. So there's a lot of people that, I mean, and I will refer you to Brandon for all that stuff.
Okay.
And Brandon does not pay me to say that.
All right. I realized it's midnight. I also just realized I forgot to take the boy's girlfriend home, so I have to drive her home. So I am going to have to get going. I did want to ask you, remind me next time to ask you about which you prefer, whether it's physical or digital for reading, because that's something I want to get into.
Yeah, good luck with it.
That's a big. It is a big debate, and I'll tell you about. Remind me to tell you about Locker. Okay, I'll try to remember, but I'll tell you about Locker next time. But yeah, I got to take her home. I hate doing it, but I got it. So.
Well, you're gonna have to give me 5 minutes after the end here, because I got to tell you a story really quickly afterwards. But I don't want to tell it live.
Sounds good. All right. Well, we'll head out. Appreciate everybody coming in, and we'll see you next time.